And it'll be the Packers kicking off from the 35. It is Aldo Greco. Back deep. Spot the ball at the 11-yard line. Wide to the left side is Kevin House. Motion across. James Wilder is the tailback. DeBerg pitch back. Sweeps to the right. Wilder maybe one tough yard as he cracks across the 11. Loose football, but it was down in the grasp of John Anderson before that ball was pulled loose. Let's take a look at that defensive front of the Green Bay Packers. They had some problems against the Rams.
It certainly did. Problems of not putting pressure on the quarterback. They got two rookies starting in their defensive front. Linebackers are led by the veteran John Anderson from Michigan. Defensive backfield really improved this year, led by Tim Lewis and Mark Lee.
Second down and 9. Second down and 10. They say he didn't even cross the 11-yard line. Carter wide to the left. Motion right side of the Tampa Bay line. Free play for DeBerg perhaps. Unloads to Giles, and it is intercepted. Timmy Lewis picks it off for the Packers. It is down inside the Bucs 30 at the 27-yard line. Let's check the penalty flag, however, thrown by the linesman back at the 9-yard line. Steve DeBerg came into this game as far as Tampa Bay is concerned, and he had only thrown 16 interceptions. Indication is it's against Green Bay after motion from the left side of the line.
Offside, number 76, defense. Repeat, second down.
The man that jumped offside, number 76 for the Green Bay Packers, the rookie out of Florida State, Alfonso Carricker. Break for the Buccaneers.
Oh, definitely a break for the Buccaneers. Tim Lewis made a heck of an interception on the plane. Yesterday, DeBerg had said that one thing they fear with Tim Lewis is that he has great hands in the secondary. Anything he touches, he catches.
On 2nd and 5 for the Bucs. Kevin House wide to the left. Carter wide to the right. James Wilder straight up the middle. Down at the 18-yard line in the grasp of Randy Scott and George Cumby. You might notice on the side of the Buccaneer helmets, they are all wearing number 42. That, of course, in reference to their former teammate, Ricky Bell, whose NFL career was cut short by a rare muscle disease. Ricky, who died Wednesday from heart failure at the age of just 29. He was a star running back, of course, at Southern California. He was runner-up for the Heisman Trophy in 1976. He was the nation's leading rusher as a junior with over 1,875 yards. Ricky Bell, one of the finest football players that John McKay said he'd ever had the pleasure of coaching. Ricky Bell, an even finer man. 3rd and 1, and diving close to first down yardage is James Wilder. Ironically, it is James Wilder who is pursuing Ricky Bell, who is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers career rushing leader.
Well, Jim, I'm sure James Wilder is going to get a real workout today in this muddy field, wet football and everything. You got to control that football and keep it in the hands of James Wilder. And once he gets on track, Tampa Bay's offense will be on track. But he should see a lot of action today.
1st and 10 after that dive by Wilder from the 22 of the Bucs. Two tight ends, Jerry Bell and Jimmy Giles, in for the Buccaneers now. James Wilder's jersey, you can't even see the number 32. DeBerg unloads, wide open, Kevin House. House breaks it across the 33, and that's very close to first down yardage once again. Mike Douglas, 53, came up to make the hit for Green Bay.
Well, it's just a first down play. You can see Kevin House is getting a lot of room. Gets a clear out route there by Jerry Bell. And House just kind of sits down in his zone defense, makes the catch, and tries to get as many yards as he can before being brought down.
12:06 left to go. The one interception by the Packers called back because of an offsides. Otherwise, it would have been a big break for Green Bay. As it is, Tampa Bay's drive stays alive. 1st and 10 from the Bucs 32. Motion by Adger Armstrong. James Wilder dives over the left side. Blocking by Corson and by Wilson. John Anderson on the tackle for the Packers up near the 40-yard line.
Jim, a great job that time by the Tampa Bay Buccaneer offensive line. They really drove the defensive line for the Green Bay Packers upfield, and James Wilder was able to pick up some big yards.
Over on the sideline, John McKay, just 3 games away from retirement. Wearing a knit cap today, not his ever familiar golf cap. 2nd down and 3 for the Bucs. House to the left, Carter to the right. James Wilder cross blocking up across the 43. Donnie Humphrey, the rookie out of Auburn, a third-round draft pick of the Green Bay Packers, submarine Wilder and went down low.
Well, I'm sure Tampa Bay feels they can run on Green Bay. They got that good offensive line, big offensive line, and Green Bay has two rookies in their defensive front, Donnie Humphrey and Alfonso Carricker. So they think they can take advantage of them, just put these big guys on them and move them out.
Donnie Humphrey actually becomes a defensive tackle when the Green Bay Packers go into their nickel. The book on Donnie Humphrey so far this year, he plays the run much better than he does the pass. He is tough, he is aggressive, and the coaches say he doesn't look fast, but he is.
Well, he's a big guy. He's 6'3", 275. Doesn't have any quarterback sacks, but like you said, Jim, he's been very effective this year so far against the run.
You saw the measurement, less than the length of the football on third down. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will bring in three tight ends. Jimmy Giles, 88, Jerry Bell, 82, and Jay Carroll, the rookie out of Minnesota, number 86. Boy, how many times on third and a foot here at Lambeau Field did you see the Green Bay Packers? Bart Starr would fake the play into the line to Horning, go up top to Boyd Dowler, who's now a coach for the Bucs.
That's right. Old number 86 with Green Bay.
First down, Tampa Bay at the Green Bay 45. Rich Wingo made the stop on James Wilder. You know, the first time, as you watch at ground level, the first time these two teams met, James Wilder carried the ball a record-tying 43 times. He actually broke the record, but the one play was called back because of a penalty.
Well, he might break it today, and there's no mystery to that play. They knew James Wilder was going to take the ball. The offensive line, again, did a great job. Tampa Bay picks up the first down.
The injured Buck, Steve Wilson, 9-year veteran out of Georgia. So while they attend to Steve, left in a scoreless first quarter, it's 1st and 10 Tampa Bay from the Green Bay 45, and the new center, Randy Grimes, second year out of Baylor, so on a sloppy field, could be some exchange problems with quarterback Steve DeBerg. Steve Wilson out, injured on that last play. Backpedaling Steve DeBerg, wide open is Giles, and it was deflected by Gerald Carter. I think the ball was intended for the tight end, and Carter came across and deflected it.
Well, Carter was trying to get across on the play. He came in motion. He was trying to work to the other side of the field, but he read his own defense. He seen a linebacker right there, so he broke down. And I think that interfered with the play because, as you said, Jim, Giles was wide open in the secondary. In the middle of that secondary. Carter's coming in motion there, and looks like DeBerg is looking for Giles. You see Giles wide open. He slips down as he tries to plant to come back to the football, but Gerald Carter knocked it away.
Carter wide right, House wide left. DeBerg bends in on 2nd and 10. Open over the middle is Giles. DeBerg unloads, caught at the 41 by Kevin House. Another first down for Tampa Bay, and this is a very impressive opening drive considering they started at their own 11-yard line.
Well, Tampa Bay showing no signs of playing in this cold weather. You see at the top of the screen, Kevin House. You see the whole picture of the defense there. We'll see what kind of coverage they get as we get into the replay. They're playing zone defense. You see the backers just backing up. Kevin House plants and watch it come back to the football. Great catch by Kevin House working in his own defense.
Tim Lewis, you saw on the replay, slipped before that catch by Kevin House. 1st and 10 from the 41. Dives over the middle down to the 35. Does James Wilder. Word from the Tampa Bay bench, Steve Wilson with a knee injury. Boy, just as soon as they get the offensive line back intact, more injuries.
Well, here's the last play. Again, you can see the offensive line creating that real estate for James Wilder. It's a zone blocking play. Gets the blocking, he reads the zone, and cuts back against the grain. Picks up some yardage. 2nd and 4.
From the 35 of Green Bay. DeBerg looking for Giles. He's got Carter in a crossing pattern, and Carter is open at the 30. And I think he's just about a half-yard shy of first down yardage. Randy Scott was back there on the coverage for Green Bay, but they need another 2 feet.
Well, Tampa Bay knows that Green Bay is going to be in that zone defense, so they're going to work underneath that zone. Again, you see Gerald Carter on this side, the same route as Kevin House ran on the other side to pick up a first down. Gerald Carter is going to run it on this side. He works inside that zone, and DeBerg reads him. They pick up the first down.
Steve DeBerg now 3 out of 4 for 30 yards on a sloppy field. They say now it is a first down. They gave him forward progress across the 30. So 1st and 10, Tampa Bay from the Green Bay 30. Carter wide to the left. House comes deployed wide right. Kevin House, and that is a good catch. No, it is not. It is ruled by the other official incomplete. Must have trapped the ball.
It must have. It looked like he got his arms up under the ball before it hit the ground, but the official had a better angle than we have up here. You see on the replay, Kevin House on the out route. He's getting a lot of room on that man-to-man coverage by Mark Lee. Let's see him go down. Gets those arms, try to get it under the football, but the ball does bounce off the turf. No catch.
Let's talk about the turf now. The old adage on a sloppy track that the wide receiver has the advantage. He knows where he's going, and you can see the Packers playing way off.
Well, it's certainly true, and wide receiver does have the advantage here because he knows, like you said, Jim, he knows where he's going. He can put that move and break down, be delivered in his routes.
2nd and 10. DeBerg picks up the blitz and just unloads. Coming crashing through, big number 63. And 79, Donnie Humphrey. Terry Jones, the first man through. In the general direction, the ball was thrown of Jerry Bell.
Well, DeBerg read the blitz, but Jerry Bell did not pick up the blitz. He did not read the call. The quarterback and the receivers has to be on the same page. DeBerg reads the blitz, and he's ready to let the ball go because he knows that pressure is coming. But Jerry Bell was not ready for it, ran a different route than what the blitz called for.
3rd and 10. Bucks are 2 for 2 on 3rd down conversions. The nickelback, Estes Hood, 38 in for Green Bay. Kevin House in motion, top of your screen. DeBerg in trouble, unloads, incomplete to Carter, who was open at the 22. And now we've got more fisticuffs and a penalty flag thrown down at about the 33-yard line. Ezra Johnson, 8-year veteran out of Morris Brown, came crashing through. He might have got to DeBerg a little late.
Well, Ezra Johnson comes in on passing situations. We listen to the call. Against Tampa Bay, personal foul.
That will pretty much take the Bucks out of field goal range.
Let's see if Green Bay takes the penalty, moves them back, will give them another down. Now they'll lose the down on the play. That's a personal foul.
Personal foul, unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 74 on the offense. After the play, we go to 4th down.
74 is Gene Sanders, the 6-year veteran out of Texas A&M, who had such a terrible game against the New York Giants. He was just completely victimized by Lawrence Taylor. There's Garcia, and you see he's got a face mask on because the wind is swirling around here at Lambeau Field. So the Packers dodge a bullet. The Bucks worked it down to the 30, but a personal foul penalty takes them out of field goal range. Penalty flags are down. And I think I saw motion left side of that Tampa Bay line before the snap. Somebody jumped off sides a little prematurely.
Well, despite the
Ball
weather.
start, number 59, offense.
We get the call despite the weather here. There's quite a few people here, and I guarantee it's partisan Green Bay. These people love this type of weather, this type of football.
Ball start, number 59, still 4th down.
Penalties, mistakes, injuries apply to most teams, I guess, when you're having the kind of a season Tampa Bay has. But John McKay gets very frustrated with silly and stupid penalties. Tom Flynn, the rookie out of Pittsburgh, awaits this punt back at the Green Bay 15. Almost blocked. Flynn backpedals up to the 20, and that's where the Packer offense will start. So the Ghostbusters welcome back to Lambeau Field. The forecast, 3 to 7 inches of white stuff. It's Green Bay kind of weather. It's 78 and sunny back in Tampa Bay. And as John McKay said, if you missed the top of the telecast, the NFL schedule maker must have planned this at 21 over cocktails. 15 plays. The Bucks had the ball for almost 7.5 minutes. No points. Green Bay 1st and 10 from their own 20, and Lynn Dickey goes airborne right away. Safety valve to Eddie Lee Ivory, and he is hammered backwards. A loss of 5 on the play. Keith Browner, the rookie out of USC, he just drove Eddie Lee Ivory the opposite way. Eddie Lee Ivory back healthy, had a big game against the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving.
That's right, and Eddie Lee Ivory came back. They moved Gary Ellis to fullback, and that's a potent backfield they have right there now. And there's the offensive line. They moved the big guys inside for this game to try to add a little weight Got Blake Moore in there starting at center for Larry McCarron.
Second down and 15 for the Packers. Epps comes wide to the left side. Wide to the right is James Lofton. Eddie Lee Ivory scampers around the right side and nothing doing. And again the Bucs defense. John Cannon comes crashing through. Cannon in his third year out of William and Mary. And speaking of the defense of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Leroy Selmon, of course, the key to that 3-4, along with his battery mate Hugh Green, who's back healthy. We are told that Hugh is wearing a special plexiglass plate inside of his helmet for protection. We could use some of that plexiglass up here and keep the snow out of the booth. 3rd and 18. It's be careful time for the Packers from their own 12. Motion by the left guard. That is Keith Euchre in his third year out of Auburn, a free agent who was cut by the Broncos this year. Eddie Lee Ivory, but far shy of first down yardage. In fact, he's only back to the 19, and the original line of scrimmage was the 20-yard line. So Bucky Scribner in his second year out of Kansas State gets away a good kick. It is a low spiral, Bright at the 40, slips, and gets down at the 44-yard line. Gary Hayes out of Fresno State. Good special teams play for the Packers. Here in Green Bay. Tampa Bay's ball 1st and 10 from their own 44-yard line. Gerald Carter wide to the left side, and Kevin House comes wide to the right side. James Wilder, you see the explosive speed, and he hammers his way up across the 50-yard line. A pickup of 7 yards. Mark Lee, the man that came up and chopped him down. Around the NFL today, a couple of big games going on. That's not one of them. San Francisco has already clinched home field for as far as the Niners can go. That certainly isn't. Buffalo with the worst record in the league, but they're playing well at home. Pittsburgh in that AFC Central. Cincinnati on top over Cleveland. Cardinals, Neil Lomax a touchdown pass. 2nd down and 4. James Wilder. That's a first down at the 45 of Green Bay. Rich Wingo out of Alabama came up to make the stop. The score that we didn't show you is the big game today. The Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles, and that Dallas defense. Drew doing it again. An old teammate of yours, Dennis Thurman.
They're doing it. They've been carrying them, Jim.
38-yard interception return off a pass thrown by Joe Pisarcik. Of course, Ron Jaworski out for the season for Philadelphia with a broken leg. So that NFC East, the Cowboys tied for the top spot with the Giants and the Redskins. That's another first down to Kevin House into triple coverage. And how about the protection that DeBerg had?
Well, that was a problem last week when the Packers played the Detroit Lions. They couldn't put that pressure on Gary Danielson, the Lion quarterback, and he had all day to throw the football. Same case here. DeBerg gets a lot of time. It's a play-action pass. Gets good protection. He pumps, brings it down, takes it up again, and drills it right in there to Kevin House, who makes a great catch in tight coverage.
Double tight end for the Bucs now. Jimmy Giles and Jerry Bell. We'll check the stats on James Wilder because he is just 1 yard shy of Ricky Bell's record. 9 carries, 33 yards for number 32. Wilder has that record at the 26 of Green Bay. Mike Douglas on the stop, 7th year out of San Diego State.
Jim, what's happening here is Tampa Bay's really controlling the ball this first quarter, and that's what Detroit did to Green Bay last week. Green Bay's offense couldn't get on the field to put points on the scoreboard. And that's what Tampa Bay wants to do. They want to control that football, keep Green Bay's offense off the field, but in doing so, Tampa Bay has to score some points.
You know, Green Bay has the lowest time of possession in the National Football League. 2nd down and 5 for the Bucs. Adger Armstrong is in. Carter wide to the left side. Here comes James Wilder again. Bulls his way inside the 25 down to the 24-yard line in the grasp of Mark Lee. You know, as you take a look at that offensive line of the Bucs with Sanders, Corson, Wilson, and Heller, that Buck offensive line, they're getting better under their coach Kim Helton, and those players want the rest of the NFL to know about that. It was interesting talking with Steve DeBerg yesterday at the hotel. He said the different units are playing for their respective coaches for position.
That's the motivation, and that's what we talked on the top of the show. The defense is really fired up, and they're playing for their defensive coordinator, Wayne Fontes.
Wide open is Giles over the middle, and he drops the ball. That'll be an incomplete pass, not a fumble. What a hit by Mark Murphy out of West Liberty State.
Well, he's a leading tackler for the Green Bay Packer defense. He's a very aggressive player coming from this strong safety position. He really likes to force the run. And that time he came up on the pass defense and knocked the ball away from Jimmy Giles.
So it brings up 4th and 3. And apparently John McKay will sustain the field goal try here and go for it on 4th and 3. How about that?
Well, I got nothing to lose in this situation. Go for it.
Look out, the blitz is on. That's Jimmy Giles. He's fighting to get to the first down sticks, and it'll all depend on the spot. And Steve DeBerg is down at the 35-yard line and in tremendous pain. Donnie Humphrey came crashing through. DeBerg was out there unprotected.
It was a play-action pass, Jim, and DeBerg kind of ran a little naked bootleg, and nobody picked up Humphrey. He came in unmolested and leveled DeBerg. DeBerg did a heck of a job of getting rid of the football.
That is a shame for Steve DeBerg. Watch Donnie Humphrey right side of your screen.
And watch the play action. DeBerg will fake it to Wilder and come out almost naked with the bootleg, and here comes Humphrey into your picture, untouched. DeBerg does a great job getting the football away.
Steve 5 for 10, 51 yards in the football game. I started to say it really is a shame because he's a terrific young man who came over from the Denver Broncos this year. And it took him a little while to work. Tampa Bay quarterback is Jack Thompson. Steve DeBerg expected back in on this series. So apparently that injury not as serious as it looked after Donnie Humphrey came crashing through. It's a first down for Tampa Bay. That's Edgar Armstrong wide to the left side. Kevin House, the bottom of your screen. And with the football, a muddy James Wilder. Penalty flag down at the 20-yard line. Looks like it might be holding against the Bucs. John Anderson in his 7th year out of Michigan, the man that got to James Wilder first, holding against Tampa Bay. Well, they got down to the 30 of Green Bay in their first drive that used up 15 plays in 7.5 minutes, and then penalties took them out of field goal range, and a costly penalty here, Drew, on first down.
It certainly is. They pick up the first down.
Holding, number 74, offense, repeat first down.
That's Gene Sanders against. That's 2 10-yard penalties against Sanders.
They picked up the first down on that last play. It was a big play. DeBerg comes back in the game now, but this penalty is going to hurt him a little. Now you got a 1st and 20 situation.
And I would imagine Steve's a little shell-shocked still from that hit put on by Donnie Humphrey. 1st and 20 from the 30 of Green Bay. Packers jumped offside. DeBerg has a free play. Looks to the end zone, unloads safety valve. That's Kevin House, and House would run out of bounds at the 15-yard line. But wide open in the left corner of the end zone was Jerry Bell. I mean, you can't get any more wide open. He's down there with the cheerleaders.
Well, apparently Steve DeBerg was looking for something else because he certainly missed Jerry Bell in the end zone. Luckily, he had the time and protection to throw the football or dump it off to Kevin House.
I believe the rookie Alfonso Carricker was the man who jumped offside. Let's check with referee Gordon McCarter.
Offside, number 76, defense, penalty declined, first down.
That is the rookie out of Florida State and a #1 draft pick of Green Bay this year. Interesting as you look at Alfonso Carricker there. Forrest Gregg, his coach, said, you know, there are some years you draft a player #1 and he really doesn't deserve to be a #1 draft pick, but he said this man Alfonso Carricker does.
Well, he's a tough, aggressive football player.
Right time.
Get a call here.
Didn't they make a first down on the completion?
No, it's still first down.
They did not make it. Gordon? Okay.
We're going to have
All right.
Gordon doesn't know his mic's on.
All right.
Let's listen.
I'm looking at the wrong state. Okay, all right. I got it.
Okay, Gordon.
I got it. Wait a minute.
Gordon's got it.
Second down.
It was second down.
This is the play.
It should be second down.
I said first down, and I thought they'd made it. It will be second down by accepting the penalty.
That's correct.
Otherwise, third down. All right.
It's clear to me.
My error in assessing the penalty.
He just found out he didn't have it on.
He got more time than you. He's going to have to join after it.
But they did not make the first down on the play since the penalty was refused.
Is that what he said?
Down.
Wait till he explains it to Forrest Gregg.
Yeah, he'll be upset.
He says, wait a minute.
Because if they had taken the penalty, it would have got 5 yards anyway, so it ended up about the same. Except it would have been 1st and 5 instead of 2nd and 5. Forrest Gregg does not like what's going on. I'm sure he'll be halfway out on the field try to get an explanation.
I would not want Forrest Gregg angry at me.
Now, he's a very intimidating type coach, discipline-orientated coach.
It is 2nd down, 5 to go.
They got it right. In favor of Green Bay fans.
Winning the 2nd down lottery. In his 8th year as a head coach, of course, previous stints with the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals, first year here at Green Bay. So it is 2nd down and 5 as we reload from the 15-yard line of Green Bay. James Wilder again bangs his way down inside the 10, and that should be another Tampa Bay first down. There is John McKay. Boy, he doesn't look like he's golfing today.
No, he's just looking like trying to survive in this cold weather up here.
2 games and 3 quarters away from a well-deserved retirement. In his 25th year as a head coach, when he first became a head coach, the Soviets were sending up Sputniks, and Ike was president. Won national championships, of course, at USC. Tremendous gentleman.
The players have a lot of respect for him.
1st and goal from the 9. Bell in motion, and here goes a convoy for Wilder. Loose football at the 5. The Packers have it. The rookie out of Pittsburgh, Tommy Flynn, right there, and he's going to be a good one. George Cumbie, 52, watch it. Right side of your screen, forces the fumble.
Well, they get the block and they get the hole. You see Cumbie stick his hand in there. The ball's laying on the turf, and Tom Flynn just falls on top of it. Still no score.
Green Bay, after the Tampa Bay fumble, the Packers start from their own 6. Epps in motion, right to left. Eddie Lee Ivory. Nifty little move to pick up 5 tough yards across the 10 at the 11-yard line. Thought maybe the Bucs defense might come out a little bit fired up after that turnover.
I'm sure they are fired up. You can see their uniforms are pretty clean because their offense has been on the field for most of this first quarter. But I'm sure the Buc defense is fired up because they're playing for their defensive coordinator, Wayne Fontes.
3 plays and a punt previously for the Packers. Green Bay now 2nd down and 5, barring a penalty that should be the last play of the first quarter. Eddie Lee Ivory behind the fake to Ray Krause up near the 15-yard line. If he gets to the 16, it's a first down with about 13 seconds left in quarter number 1. The Bucs penetrated down to the 30 of Green Bay. 2 penalties backed them up. They punted the ball away. The Packers had 3 plays and a punt. The Bucs got the ball and got it down 1st and goal from the 9. A fumble at the 6-yard line, and the Packers have it. Jim Kelly and Drew Pearson, welcome back to snowy Lambeau Field in Green Bay, where the Packers and the Bucs are knotted up in a scoreless tie. Certainly unlike the first time these 2 teams hooked up when they went overtime back in Tampa Bay. The Packers won that one 30-27. It's 3rd and 2 for Green Bay after they got the ball back on a fumble at their own 6-yard line. Double tight end for Green Bay, Paul Kaufman and Ed West. West in motion across. Eddie Lee Ivory behind Ray Krause. First down for the Packers at the 17, maybe the 18-yard line. And the postbuster, Beasley Reese, submarined him. There is Eddie Lee Ivory, who's getting up a little gimpy kneed. He, of course, is the main man and makes that running game for the Packers go. 4 carries, 11 yards.
He's been having injury problems, mainly with his knees, and anytime you can see him getting up slowly, walking back, limping to the huddle, then you have to be concerned.
Slot to the right. Lockton is inside. Epps outside. Backs are split. Krause and Eddie Lee Ivory. 1st and 10 Packers. Eddie Lee Ivory slips, gets across the 20, and hammers across the 25, up to the 26-yard line. Leroy Selman, the 9-year veteran out of Oklahoma, 1st-round draft pick of the Bucs back in '76. Isolated here, the man that made the tackle.
Well, a lot of teams like to do is run away from Leroy Selman, and that's what they're doing here. But you see number 63 in pursuit, working down the line of scrimmage, and that's what makes great football players. The play's going away from him, but he stays in pursuit to make the play.
His coach, John McKay, says of Leroy Selman, week in and week out, nobody in the National Football League plays any better than Leroy.
Well, Leroy only had has 5 quarterback sacks, but he's pressured the quarterback 40 different times this year.
2nd and 2 for the Packers. Lofton left, Epps right. Dickey to Lofton. Loose football, an incompleted pass. This has been such a strange season for James Lofton. You recall that snowy game out in Denver on Monday night. He had a career over 200 yards and catches. Last week, however, against Detroit, just 1 catch for 24 yards.
Well, their offense didn't have the football very often last week, so James Lofton, they couldn't work him loose. But you see there, you're running that little short post pattern, and there comes one of the post busters, Mark Cotney.
Lofton, by the way, needs just 59 yards to break his own Green Bay Packers single-season record for receiving yards of 1,300 that he set last year. 3rd and 2. Lofton right, Epps left. Dickey to Ray Krause. And Krause, excuse me, that is Gary Ellis. And Ellis gets bumped out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage, so the Packers will punt it away again. A good defensive play by John Holt to string it out.
They strung it out, gave him nowhere to run, no cutback move or nothing. They just ran him right out of bounds. Now they still got a 4th and 2 situation.
Good speed from John Holt. He's got 4.5 speed in the 40. 41-yard punt the last time by Bucky Scribner. Back deep is Leon Bright again. Have you ever seen Leon Bright make a fair catch?
He does make those fair catches now, but he used to didn't make them. I was watching the game with Dallas, and when Leon Bright was the New York Giants, he did not fair catch. He spent the rest of the evening in the hospital. But now he's learned how to fair catch.
Scribner's last was 41. This one won't be close to it. Off the side of his foot, takes a good Packer bounce. And Bright will let it roll near the out-of-bounds marker at the 31-yard line of Tampa Bay. 13:08, you see the time left in a scoreless first half, despite the fact the Bucs have had it at the Green Bay 30 and the Green Bay 6-yard line. They've come up empty both times. A punt and a fumble. So on the third Buck possession, they start 1st and 10 from their own 31. James Wilder, the lone running back. Kevin House out wide to the right. DeBerg bends in. Lots of time, looks for House. House comes back, makes the catch at the 40-yard line, and almost breaks away from Mark Lee. 1st and 10, Tampa Bay. And how about the protection that DeBerg had?
Well, DeBerg had time to throw the football, and Mark Lee had pretty good coverage on the play, but Kevin House, you'll see on the replay, will come back to the football and make an adjustment. He gives him a little move, and he takes off deep, but Mark Lee is giving him a lot of room, and House spots the football, puts on the brakes, and comes back to make the catch, and Mark Lee is holding on to bring him down to keep him out of the end zone.
Kevin House now 5 receptions, 91 yards for the first half. 12:28 left to go. Kevin House with 59 career catches coming into this year. Carter wide to the left. Edger Armstrong motion right to left. James Wilder coming your way. Inside the 30 of Green Bay. That offensive front of Tampa Bay of Sanders, Corson, Wilson, and Heller starting to take command. College basketball coming your way next Saturday on CBS Sports. The Runnin' Rebels, Jerry Tarkanian in Nevada, Las Vegas, one of the top teams in the West. They'll come east for a showdown with the top-ranked Georgetown Hoyas, the defending national champs. You get a look at Patrick Ewing, who's still growing, considered by many to be the premier player in college basketball. This will be the first real test for Georgetown this year as they continue their quest to repeat as the national champions. Next Saturday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time, right here on CBS Sports. 2nd and 6. Wilder the other way. Interesting play by Mark Lee. He fought off the block of Edger Armstrong, and when he stood up, there was Wilder in his face. He, whoa, here comes another one.
Well, you know, Green Bay's defense was very suspect last year, especially their defensive secondary. Forrest Gregg went out and hired an former all-pro cornerback in Ken Riley, and their defensive secondary has become more aggressive, more intimidating. And that play by Mark Lee was just an example of their new style of play in their defensive secondary.
Tampa Bay 2 for 4 on 3rd down conversions, looking at 3rd and 5 from the 30-yard line again of Green Bay. Kevin House motion. DeBerg can safety valve it. Instead, he unloads underneath. That's a first down to Gerald Carter. Boy, I'll tell you, had DeBerg looked to the right, James Wilder was all alone, and there wasn't a Green Bay Packer anywhere around him.
Yeah, but he was reading his keys, Jim, and the keys were calling him to go to the side with 2 receivers. They seemed like they ran a pick route. You watch the inside guy come in and watch the defenders bump each other. Everybody goes down. There's the receiver wide open to make the catch, Gerald Carter.
I am sure that the Tampa Bay coaches, however, in the booth to our right spotted Wilder, and they'll come back with that play later on. There's John McKay.
Tampa Bay is doing a good job of mixing up the run with the pass.
Here comes James Wilder. Big block at the 20-yard line thrown by Adger Armstrong on Tommy Flynn, the rookie, to allow Wilder to pick up 4, maybe 5 yards. Mark Lee again made the tackle, but they're going to wear him out.
They're running on to that right, the Tampa Bay right side. There's a quick pitch to Wilder. He's going to get a workout today.
Watch the block. It's over. There's Flynn. Now watch the block by Armstrong.
Armstrong comes in on a crackback block. Adger Armstrong, noted for his blocking, had Tom Flynn in his sights all the way and picked him up, and Wilder was able to pick up 4 yards on the play.
There is James Wilder, and what he has done so far this afternoon. Carried the ball 43 times in meeting number 1. Here he goes again. He may throw it. Looks for the tight end. It is touchdown, Tampa Bay. Adger Armstrong. Well, we knew the Bucs had a flea flicker in, but we didn't know they had that one.
Well, a lot of times you see this type of play, the halfback option pass out in the open field, but it's really an effective play near the goal line because everybody's intense and aggressive in this situation. You watch cornerback Mark Lee coming up. That's a mistake right there. Tom Flynn gets beat also. There's a great catch in the end zone by Adger Armstrong. He just faked the block. And when the guy's forced up, he slid behind them for 6 points. Great catch, too.
They look like they're dressed for that Cowboys game here against the Packers. That is the first pass ever attempted, by the way, by James Wilder. Out of the hold of Steve DeBerg. Obed Ariri out of Clemson, and Nigeria puts through the extra point. Take another look at James Wilder's first NFL pass ever.
Well, not great throwing motion there. It's kind of a shot put style, where he shots puts it enough to get it to Adger Armstrong, and he makes the catch. 7-0.
Chukwuma Ariri, whose middle name translates to God only knows, awoke this morning at the hotel, looked out across a frozen pool, looked at snow. He'd seen it before, and he said, from Nigeria, this is my kind of weather. From the 35, Obed Ariri gets it to Del Rogers. Good field position. Rogers to the 30, to the 35, out of bounds. He could not turn the corner. He had lots more turf. Michael Morton in the vicinity, and you can see Rogers a little frustrated.
Well, he should be. His momentum just kind of carried him right out of bounds. He tried to put on the brakes here. He avoids a tackle there. Great move. And watch him try to put on the brakes to cut back upfield. Nothing doing as he slides right out of bounds.
Coming your way next Saturday on CBS Sports. Lots more action in the National Football League. That's on Saturday. You'll see the Minnesota Vikings against the NFC Western Division champion San Francisco 49ers. It all starts with the NFL today at 3:30 Eastern Time on Saturday. First and 10 for the Green Bay Packers from the Green Bay 33. And going airborne is Lynn Dickey. He wants it all for Epps at the 30. No!
They call it a game of inches. Green Bay trying to get something going. You see Epps, he's got a lot of room. Getting a lot of room there by Jeremiah Castile on the corner, but Epps with his great speed closes the gap. And watch the adjustment on the football. The quarterback's told to throw the ball to the outside, and Epps is making a great adjustment on the football. He just can't hold on. Nice throw by Lynn Dickey.
Beautiful
on
throw.
The money. Got to go back and congratulate him on a throw like that, even though you don't make the catch.
Epps left, Lofton right, Ray Krause in the backfield along with Eddie Liaveri, and Dickey goes up top again. Kaufman's wide open, he goes underneath, incomplete at the 38, looking for Phil Epps out of TCU. For some reason, both quarterbacks unable to pick up the tight end. Of course, it's easier from up here to see how open they are, but that time Kaufman was wide open.
Well, on that play, the tight end was used mainly to clear out the area to bring Phil Epps underneath the coverage. So quarterback Lynn Dickey wasn't looking for Kaufman on the play. He's looking mainly for either Epps or Lawson on the play.
That is almost unbelievable.
Well, you know, Green Bay's defense gave up over 500 yards to Detroit last week, so they've been suspect.
On 3rd and 10, Dickey up top, lots of time, rifles it incomplete, missing Gary Ellis, who had looped over the linebacker coming out of the backfield. And the faithful at Lambeau Field, not so faithful with a 5-8 record after the Packers' performances the last couple of weeks. They had that 14-0 lead over the Lions on Thanksgiving Day, and then Detroit stuffed their turkey.
Well, if Green Bay doesn't get anything going offensively, these fans are going to start yelling for the backup quarterback, rookie Randy Wright from the University of Wisconsin.
That is Bucky Scribner and what he's done so far this afternoon. The Bucs have deployed 2 men deep, Leon Bright, 29, and Theo Bell, number 83. Beautiful kick by Scribner. It backs Bright up to the 25. Gets across the 32, and that's where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will start. Rich Wingo, number 50, raced down on the specialty team.
It's not the kind you want to get into. It's kind of one to watch.
First and 10, Tampa Bay from their own 32. That's Edgar Armstrong, who caught the touchdown pass. And that's James Wilder, who threw it up to the 35. You know, as the wave goes around Lambeau Field, the first wave John McKay saw was against the Minnesota Vikings in October of this year, and it was called the Orange Surf down in Tampa Bay. It was kind of rippling as it roared around their stadium there. The problem was that the fans in Tampa Bay would do it when the Bucs were on offense. After the game, Coach McKay asked one of the Bucs assistants, he said, "Who's in charge?" He said, "Nobody's in charge, it's spontaneous." McKay said, "I got to talk to Mrs. Spontaneous." 16 carries, 61 yards for James Wilder. 2nd and 6, Tampa Bay. Out of the backfield, James Wilder hangs on at the 38-yard line. Tim Lewis came up to make the tackle, but Wilder just lost his momentum and fell down.
Steve DeBerg does such a great job of reading defenses. He's been in camps with the Dallas Cowboys, Denver Broncos, San Francisco 49ers, and he's been under some great coaches. Now here in Tampa Bay, he's under Boyd Dowler, their offensive coordinator. He reads defenses as well as any quarterback in the National Football League.
7:25 left to go in a scoreless first half for the Green Bay Packers. Tampa Bay has a 16-yard touchdown toss from James Wilder. An unlikely source. It's his first pass ever to Edgar Armstrong. 2 tight ends. Giles and Bell are in there. DeBerg wide open behind Jerry Bell. Lynn, the rookie out of Pittsburgh, the man that was covering the tight end. Forrest Gregg and his coaching staff very high on that man, Tommy Flynn. He's going to be a good one.
Well, he's a good, aggressive, smart football player. 6 interceptions in the secondary. They're playing man-to-man in this case with the Packers blitz, trying to get pressure on Steve DeBerg, but DeBerg throws the ball behind Jerry Bell.
The masked marvel is the punter, Frank Garcia. Tom Flynn, who just made that defensive play, is back deep. Snap is high, and Garcia's got a problem. Now he'll pass, and it's complete. However, a penalty flag is down. Tampa Bay will have offensive linemen beyond the line of scrimmage. Dwayne Dixon, a rookie wide receiver out of Florida. That's a heads-up play by Garcia.
It's a good job by Garcia, but I think they have men downfield. So it's going to be against Tampa Bay, but it really saves them because he salvaged the play. Garcia did. As you see here, the ball is wet, just slips right through his hands, hits him on the helmet. He picks it up, he starts to kick it. He looks around, he starts to kick it again. He lays it out there.
Dixon makes the catch, and this is a very important catch because if the ball is incomplete, Green Bay would take over on downs, and they'd have it at the 38 of Tampa Bay. Here's Gordon McCarter.
Ineligible downfield, number 55 on the offensive team. Penalty accepted. Repeat 4th down.
It really turns out to be a big break for Tampa Bay.
Wait a minute. No, there's no loss of down. No loss of down. You want the play or the penalty? The play gave him the first down.
Great stuff.
We're getting lucky. At least those players are keeping it clean.
Really. That's really taking you right to the action.
4th and 12. Garcia back to punt again, and Tom Flynn awaits back at the 30.
See if they try to block this one.
They've got the return on. Good kick by Garcia. hangs a low spiral. Flynn fields at the 30, at 35, down at the 40. Penalty flag is down at the 45. I believe we're going to have a late hit, and it looks like it's against the Green Bay Packers. So Gordon McCarter, who has been leaving his mic on and taking us right into the heat of the huddle, whether it was the Packer huddle or his own conclave of officials when they straightened out that down problem a little while earlier.
Jim, this is one of those interdivision rivalries. The teams play each other twice a year. The players know each other fairly well. And when things happen on the field, the intensity flares up, and you'll probably see a lot of fights breaking out.
Late hit, number 56 on the receiving team. 15-yard penalty from the dead ball spot, first and 10.
Cliff Lewis, fourth year out of Southern Mississippi, with a very costly penalty because it would have been first and 10 for the Green Bay Packers at their own 40-yard line. That would have been the best field position. He was smiling because his defense is playing so well. Clapping his hands together is Wayne Fonts, defensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's been with John McKay for 15 seasons. Of course, with the Bucs, and before that with the Trojans at USC. It's first and 10 for the Packers, trailing 7-0. Lynn Dickey, 2 out of 6, 80 yards, however, on those 2 completions. Unloads. He's got Eddie Lee Ivory, and that's a Green Bay first down. Loose football, and the Bucs have got it back. First and 10, Tampa Bay at the 38 of Green Bay. The Packers, who led the NFL in fewest fumbles lost with 5, have just coughed up their 6th. Mark Cotney fell on the loose football, and there is Wayne Fonts, the man who Leroy Selman, who Hugh Green will be talking about with Mr. Culverhouse, the owner of the Bucs. The defensive players solidly lined up behind Fonts to replace John McKay.
Well, that's the defense's motivation for this game and the next 2 games coming up, is to play well to impress the owner, Hugh Culverhouse, that Wayne Fonts is, that they think is the man for that job to replace John McKay as head coach. The defense has been playing really fired up, and Green Bay is really struggling offensively. I don't know the count, but they haven't had the football too much, and their defense, Green Bay's defense, has to be tired at this point because they've been on the field for most of this first half.
There's Wayne Fonts again on the sideline. It was Keith Browner, the rookie out of USC, who forced the fumble. James Wilder convoys right, and inside the 35, down to the 32 in the grasp of Randy Scott.
Well, James Wilder is going to have 20 or more carries before this half is out. And the record of 43 carries in one game is definitely in jeopardy here today.
He's also going to have a muddy jersey. 6:20 and counting left in the first half. 7-0 Tampa Bay. A 16-yard scoring strike from James Wilder to Edger Armstrong. Gerald Carter wide to the left. Armstrong slotted out to the right. Here comes Wilder again. Wilder just keeps on hammering, and he's close to first down yardage for the Bucs. John Anderson, like a Bronco rider, hanging on the backside. Patriots in all sorts of trouble at Foxborough. Of course, the Cardinals very much in that playoff hunt in that wild NFC East. And speaking of the East, Eagles have come back with a field goal by Paul McFadden to close to within 4 of the Cowboys. Cowboys scored on a 38-yard interception by Dennis Thurman. Giants on top over the Jets. They're playing at the Meadowlands, which is the home field for both the Giants and the Jets, but it's the Jets' home game, so their season ticket holders are there. Cleveland by a field goal against the Bengals. And San Francisco having no problem with Atlanta. You think Dan Henning's in any trouble down there?
I would think so. Over the last 2 years, they've been really struggling. But again, in the cases with most teams in the National Football League this year, Atlanta's been having their share of injury problems.
The Bucs picked up the first down on that last carry, the 18th by James Wilder. He's got 72 yards rushing and a 16-yard touchdown pass. Tack on about 7 more yards as he hammers his way inside the 20. And the fans here at Lambeau Field not enthralled with the Packers defense. Interesting, in talking to a couple of the Packers at their practice yesterday morning, they think that their front 3 a little bit small, and certainly the Tampa Bay line is doing a good job.
The Tampa Bay line certainly opening the holes in their defensive front for the Green Bay Packers. They go with a 3-man front. Tampa Bay has those big men up front with Gene Sanders going 285, Steve Pearson going 270 on that left side, and that's the side they've been working pretty regular.
James Wilder again on 2nd and 2. Just puts that helmet down, bangs into Tommy Flynn, the rookie out of Pittsburgh, and is very close to first down yardage again. Alfonso Carricker, the rookie out of Florida State, the first to get there. Well,
James Wilder looks like one of the throwbacks from the old days professional football, playing in the mud, dirty. Looks like Jim Brown there, that number 32. He can hardly read his number. But I guarantee this is just the first half. He's got a long way to go before his job is through today.
1964, the most valuable player in the National Football League and the American Football League wore number 32. You just named one of them. Who was the other? Big hole over the middle for Adger Armstrong inside the 10, and that's another first down for the Bucks.
Cookie Gilchrist. Am I right?
That's right.
Trivia.
Watch the blocking up front. Pearson, Wilson, Bujnak, Heller, and Sanders.
Well, you get him looking for Wilder, and you pop a quick opener up the middle to Adger Armstrong, more noted for his blocking, but he pops through that hole. Now they got a 2nd-and-1 situation.
And again, the offensive line coach is Kim Helton, and Steve DeBerg told us at the Bucks Hotel yesterday. The team playing in units. They're playing more together, of course, but they're playing for their unit, their specific unit coaches. Tampa Bay with a motion on the right side of that offensive line, and I think it was the rookie out of Penn State, Ron Heller. I think it tells you something about the Bucks.
Number 73 offense.
All right, it was Ron Heller. Thank you, Gordon. It tells you something about the Bucks as a team, the way the players are rallying behind their individual unit coaches. They would like to keep things in an orderly transition with John McKay retiring. If Wayne Fonte should be elevated to the head coach, but even not, they would like their specialty coaches, Boyd Dowler, Kim Helton, Wayne Fonte, everything to stay in place, rather than have somebody come in and bring an entire new system and start over again.
Well, the players feel, Jim, that their position coaches are doing an excellent job. They come in, they prepare the players each week in and week out, and they're doing a great job. And even though McKay has announced his retirement effective at the end of the season, the players hope that the coaching staff, the rest of the coaching staff, stays intact.
We'll be talking about the coaching situation at halftime for our Tampa Bay fans, so we invite you to stay with us. Scores and highlights with Brendan Irv from New York. 3:34 to go before intermission. It is 2nd down and 5 after the penalty. Donnie Humphrey is out. Robert Brown in for Green Bay on defense. Adger Armstrong motion, bottom of your screen, and there goes Wilder. This time they got him. Mike Douglas came crashing through. Now, Mike Douglas is not a big fella. He's only 6 feet, about 214 pounds, but he's kind of a TNT waiting to go off.
Yeah, well, he's a very aggressive player. And I asked him yesterday how he deals with these big tight ends, big tacklers coming out to try to block on him. And he said he just tried to get the leverage. He said he's small, but he has a lot of strength due to his weight training. He bench presses over 400 pounds. So he doesn't have that great size, but he has that great strength.
What's his nickname?
Mad Dog.
Willie Buchanan tagged him with that. He's got it sewn on his jacket.
He's serious.
3rd and 5 for the Bucks. Here comes the blitz. DeBerg picks it up. Penalty flag is down. The ball is dropped at the 6-yard line. Adger Armstrong. But let's check the call. Anderson putting pressure on Steve DeBerg. It was 3rd and 5. Procedure against Tampa Bay. So I would imagine the Packers would decline the penalty. And we may see the Nigerian place kicker who woke up this morning and saw a frozen pool. Looked like Lake Placid outside.
I'll tell you, I've never been to Nigeria, but I didn't think it would get this
Illegal
cold.
formation. Right tackle not up on the line. Penalty decline. 4th down.
Now, the last time on 4th and 4, John McKay went for the first down. This time, however, we will see Obed Ariri.
He's the guy with the clean uniform.
Steve DeBerg will be the holder. Obed Ariri has seen snow before at Clemson one time. I would have to imagine just a little dusting down there.
Well, he has to be careful in this situation. He's in the middle part of the football field, the part of the field that's been getting a lot of action, so he has to be careful with his footing as he attempts this field goal.
He's 2 for 2 from the 30. No good. A timing problem between the holder, Steve DeBerg, and Ariri, who lost his footing a little bit. He tried to reload, but he couldn't.
Well, DeBerg gets the ball down there, but he slips a little on his takeoff. He double pumps, and he tries to get the ball off. But he gets it off, but it doesn't go anywhere.
So the Packers field in Green Bay, 2:43 to go before halftime. The Packers would like to get the tying touchdown. They've got the Air Corps in. Bill left, wide to the left. Lofton comes wide to the right. Dickey bends in, looks over that 4-3 defense now. Bucks have an extra linebacker in. Penalty flag is down. Wide open is Epps. That's an apparent Green Bay first down, but let's check the call. It is thrown in the backfield of the Packers, and one would have to assume holding.
Yeah, Green Bay's really struggling. Their football team should be really frustrated at this point. But the key thing, even though Tampa Bay has dominated offensively and defensively, Green Bay is only one touchdown away from tying this football game.
Just one play when you've got a Lofton.
That's right.
Illegal use of the hands. Number 65, offense. Repeat, first down.
That is Ron Hallstrom, who Forrest Gregg was so high on at practice. Hallstrom inserted over on that right guard after sitting on the bench here in Green Bay for 2 years.
You see the difference there in first downs. Tampa Bay with 13, and Green Bay would have had their second, but the penalty wiped that out.
Hallstrom originally drafted to play tackle, now moved over to guard. Eddie Lee Ivory, and he's not going very far. Dances his way up to the 18-yard line, but still not back to the original line of scrimmage. So unless the Packers hurry up, that'll be the last play before the 2-minute warning.
Well, Eddie Lee Ivory was hustling on that play. There was nothing out there, but the yardage he made on his own.
Going back to Hallstrom, number 65 for just a minute. Mentioned he was 2 years on the bench, tried to play a tackle. His self-confidence was way down, and then Forrest Gregg moved him to guard, gave him a chance to win a starting spot. Packers just come back to Lambeau Field in Green Bay. The battle of the Bays. The Bucks are winning the first half battle 7-0 against the Packers, who have just one first down so far in the game. Timeouts left, both teams with 3. Interesting as far as Green Bay is concerned, Eddie Lee Ivory, as far as yardage, 3 catches for 17 yards and 6 rushes for 27 yards. He's been the Packer offense. And now Green Bay has a mix-up after the 2-minute warning, and they've got to take a timeout. They wasted 25 seconds before the 2-minute warning. Now they can't
get themselves back in this football game.
He came in and he said, fellas, my way or the highway. And a lot of the Packers said it woke a lot of people up. They felt Bart Starr was too lenient, and it cost Bart Starr his job.
I think discipline's great. That's what football is all about. You got to have discipline, respect, and a certain amount of fear for your head coach.
2nd and 11. Wide open. That is Paul Kaufman, the tight end. The first ball that's been thrown in his direction. Time left in the first half. It had been about 5 minutes since the Packers ran a play. They are just not crisp offensively.
No, the clock is running down now. They're not in the 2-minute offense. They should have had 2 plays called, and they didn't do that. I guess they're going to call it now, but the clock is winding down, approaching the end of the first half.
Ray Krause, 21, checks in the backfield now. Epps comes out wide to the right, Lofton to the left. 3rd and 10. Over the middle for Eddie Lee Ivory at the 35-yard line. Packers pick up a first down, and now they'll take another timeout.
Timeout. Green Bay.
1:19 left to go before halftime. Packers are using up little chunks of yardage. They've got to get down into the end zone. They trail the Bucks by 7. Some of our crew last night at the hotel. 7-0 Bucks over the Packers. We've got 1:19 left to go before intermission. Lynn Dickey, 5 out of 7, just 31 yards passing. Lofton wide to the left side. Epps wide to the right. 1st and 10 Green Bay. Play action fake to Eddie Lee Ivory. They go the other way to Kaufman, and he can't make the one-handed grab. Epps was wide open downfield. But first, coming up at halftime, scores and highlights with Brennan Irv from the studio back in New York. Opportunity knocks. A look at the Seattle Seahawks and what a job Chuck Knox has done. And we'll have a live interview here in Green Bay with the Tampa Bay owner, Mr. Hugh Culverhouse, talking about the changeover with the retirement of John McKay as he looks ahead. Mr. Culverhouse will join us live in the booth. So that's all coming up at halftime in about 74 elongated seconds. 2nd and 10 Packers, who are not Drew Pearson, throwing the ball downfield.
No, they had James Lofton open that time. They didn't go to him. They're throwing short.
Over the middle. Lofton got it and drops the ball at the 42-yard line. Wide open was was James Lofton, and that makes them walk to the huddle a lot longer.
Oh, that was the same play. Lofton came back to the huddle, told Dickey he is open on the play, and he didn't lie because he certainly was. He just didn't make the catch. And James Lofton, the epitome of a pro receiver, the best receiver in my opinion in the National Football League. You don't see him drop too many.
Lofton,
he's having a rough day. Excuse me, Jim.
Yeah, they just are not crisp on offense. The passing, the receiving.
He caught only one pass last week and was a little disappointed. But here he had two in his hands, two in his grasp. He just couldn't hold on.
3rd and 10. Floating pocket for Dickey. Fires, rifles it. Incomplete. Looking for Kaufman, the tight end. And the Bucs get the ball back. Interesting situation now if you're John McKay. He's been playing it very wide open and loose since he announced his retirement. 1:05 to go.
Well, what he's going to do, Jim, is wait to see where that field position is. Where is he going to get that football back after this punt and punt return, and then he'll make his decision whether to try to get some more points before this half ends. Minute and 5 seconds.
Back to do the punting. Bucky Scribner, a 42-yard average so far this afternoon. Leon Wright is back deep along with Bell. Scribner with a low kick. Takes a good Green Bay bounce, and they better fall on the ball. The Packers have got it. A very costly mistake. And Green Bay in business now inside the 20-yard line. Darrell Jones, the rookie out of Georgia, fell on the loose football. What could Bright have been thinking about?
Well, the main thing he should have been thinking about was just fall on that football. The ball was kicked low, it's bouncing around there. The worst thing he could do is just let the ball roll.
How about
he tries to make a play here out of the punt by picking up the football, just overruns it, and the Packers with their hustle, Darrell Jones comes in and cleans it up.
You saw Bright wearing gloves. How do you feel about that? How difficult is it to pick up a football on a sloppy field when you're wearing gloves?
Well, the problem is the ball hit the turf and was rolling around and it got wet. When it gets wet, it makes it tough to pick it up with gloves on.
1st and 10. The Pack in business. 55 seconds. Lots of time. The ball is deflected and intercepted. Scott Brantley down that right sideline after a deflection. And the Bucs are back in business. Eddie Lee Ivory, for whom the ball was intended, is injured back at the 12-yard line. Another look. Watch the deflection right side of your screen, right there.
Well, it's deflected at the line of scrimmage. And then a great play by Brantley, and you see Eddie Lee Ivory just get decked on the play, and he's still down as Brantley brings it back upfield.
That is Brantley's 3rd interception. Maybe we can take another look at it, Bobby, if you back it up, and we can see the hit on Eddie Lee Ivory again. He had his bell rung after the deflection. We've got 43 seconds.
We can't get a tape of that.
If you could, you couldn't play it. He said he's not an easy rider. Tampa Bay slot to the left side. DeBerg will go airborne. Nickel back in on defense is Estes Hood for the Packers. DeBerg safety valve. They've got the screen set up for James Wilder. Wilder gets pounded down at the 40-yard line by Mark Murphy. 2nd and short, and the Bucs quickly take a timeout. 34 seconds left to go. And there's an injury to number 37. That is the Mark Murphy who put the 1st and 10 for the Bucs from the 32 of Green Bay. Slot to the left side and out wide to the right is Bell. Packers with 6 defensive backs in there now. DeBerg unloads, look for House, and it is intercepted at the 10-yard line by Timmy Lewis. Lewis back to the 20 and is down at the 24-yard line. So the Packer defense keeping Green Bay in the game, coming up with another crucial turnover. Let's take a look at the isolated on the interception.
Well, they're trying to get the inside guy to run that corner route on the play. They're trying to run that pick again. They break it back out to the corner. And watch Timmy Lewis make a heck of a play. Steve DeBerg said that he has great hands for a defensive back, kind of like Everson Walls with the Dallas Cowboys. When he touches that football, he's usually going to make the interception. And that's his 7th this year for Timmy Lewis, former #1 draft choice for Green Bay.
I just finished saying that DeBerg wouldn't hurt you by forcing the ball, and he forces it into double coverage there.
Certainly did that time.
That's the 2nd turnover that has gone against the Bucs. A fumble lost on the punt. Let's see how Green Bay plays it now with 14 seconds. Blood to the left. Dickey will put up a rainbow. Lofton is out there. So is Epps, and is dropped at the 32-yard line. Beasley Reese, the postbuster, was back there. Epps had the best shot at it, but it's just a long incompletion with 7 seconds left to go. Don't forget, at halftime coming up, scores and highlights with Brennan Irv back in the studio in New York. He'll try to unscramble that NFC East. Opportunity knocks. A look at the Seahawks under Chuck Knox. And a live interview here in Green Bay with Tampa Bay's owner Hugh Culverhouse on the changing coaching situation with the impending retirement of John McKay. Lynn Dickey 5 for 13, 34 yards. Hail Mary time again. They'll set up the screen for Ray Krause. And that'll do it. Packers just not crisp on offense. Their defense has played pretty well. The Bucs defense, and as Drew has expounded upon in the first half, playing for their defensive coordinator Wayne Fontes, hoping that a good, strong defensive effort consistently over the next 3 games will help his chances with Mr. Culverhouse, whom you just heard from. So we've got 30 minutes left to go in regulation. We say regulation because these two teams have a battle going on, and they've got a history of overtimes. Their last 2 games have gone into OT, including that 30 to 27 Green Bay win down in Tampa Bay back in September. There is the kicker out of Clemson and Nigeria, Obed Ariri. And he will spot it at the 35. The Packers will get the ball back. They have deployed Del Rogers 35 and Phil Epps 85 back in the end zone. And I am sure that Forrest Gregg, a man of few but very well-chosen words, had some strong words for his Packers, certainly the offensive performance after the first 30 minutes. He said football is a game of aggression. Winners are tough people, tough-minded. And when he came over and took over the Packers, he said this team is not innerly tough. You have to change things around, and he had a tough approach, and it opened up some eyes. Low line drive kick taken by Del Rogers. Dances to the 25, the 30, and is chopped down at the 33-yard line. Dwayne Dixon, who had a rather unusual catch when Garcia had some footing problems, the man that made the tackle for Tampa Bay. Next Sunday, the National Football League doubleheader on CBS Sports. In the first half of our doubleheader, you see the New York Giants against the St. Louis Cardinals, or the Green Bay Packers against the NFC Central Division champion Chicago Bears. Then, in the second half, the game. You played in so many of them. The Skins and the Cowboys.
What a rivalry. Every time these two teams meet, especially at this time of year, something's always at stake. And this year happens to be first place in the NFC East. 1st and 10 for the Packers. Saw the eyes of Lynn Dickey. Eddie Lee Ivory dances to the outside and is hammered down at the 34. You know, going back to that Skins-Cowboys game, they get ready for that, about 2 weeks. The Redskins have had 10 days to rest up. Dallas, of course, having a pretty good struggle with Philadelphia. Last score we saw was 7-3 Cowboys. Well, that's a big break for the Redskins to play last Thursday night to win the football game, win it big, get their players rested, 10 days rest. Good time to get prepared for the Cowboys, so it's going to be a great battle in Texas Stadium, Redskins versus the Cowboys. Heard the stats on Lynn Dickey in the first half. He just upped it by 1. Ray Krause out of the backfield, but he is way shy of first down yardage as he crosses the 40. He needed to get up to the 44. Scott Brantley, 5th-year pro out of Florida, 3rd-round pick of Tampa Bay, the first Buck to get there. Green Bay's going to have to try to get some offense generated here in the second half. Right now they have a 3rd and 4 situation, and this is going to be a big down for them to try to get that momentum going on their side and carry through the second half. 3rd and 4 for the Packers. Epps wide to the right, Lofton to the left, and Gary Ellis, 31's in the backfield with Eddie Lee Ivory. Dickey, Lofton dropped at the 45. That's the second pass that Lofton has had problems with, and the fans starting to get on him. Lofton not having a good game either. Well, I guess no one's sacred up here in Green Bay because all the great things James Lofton has done for this football team, and he still gets booed here in Green Bay. But there's no way you can get around it. He just dropped that football. You notice James doesn't have the long jersey on the second half or the gloves. He disregarded all that stuff in the second half, and at this point, it still hasn't helped him.
You saw that graphic on Lofton. He's got the current longest consecutive game streak on the Green Bay Packer roster. Their center Larry McCarron's streak ended at 162 games last week when he was out because of a stretched nerve. Theo Bell dances across the 30. This is coming back. A good return by Bell inside Green Bay territory, and Scribner, the punter, finally came over and rode him out of bounds. But will have to check the penalty against Tampa Bay. Bucks are going backwards. You know, going back to that consecutive game streak while we're on the Packers sideline, you know who's got the longest consecutive game streak for the Green Bay Packers?
No, who's that?
Their coach, Forrest Gregg, 187 straight.
Well, Larry McCarron almost got that record. I think he won 162 straight games before he had to miss last week's game with the injury.
Let's see if we can pick up
Illegal block from behind. Number 20 receiving team during the return. First and 10.
Well, that's one way to get your punt return man sprung, is to block from behind. But there, Theo Bell kind of waits for the action to happen, and then he makes his move inside.
Michael Morton, the culprit right there. You saw the flag. He was number 20. So it backs the Bucks up. They'll start now the third quarter. Adger Armstrong in a wing right. Kevin House out wide to the left. Backpedaling is Steve DeBerg. Goes to James Wilder. Goes down low and comes up with a good catch and falls down at about the 18-yard line. Wilder having a big day rushing and receiving. Looks like he's got a white glove on the left hand, and I can't tell if he's wearing a glove on that right hand or not, or if that's just mud.
It's probably just mud, but a lot of times at halftime in a situation like this, you're playing in a wet field, a muddy field, teams will change uniforms at halftime, especially your wide receivers or running backs. But I see Tampa Bay and most of the Green Bay players have elected to stay in their same uniforms.
Second down and 9 for the Bucks, and there goes Wilder around the right side with a convoy. Across the 20-yard line up to about the 23. Tom Flynn came over and went down low, which is about the only way you can bring James Wilder down. But good blocking by Wilson, Bujnak, and Heller. Watch 50, 77, and 73 going to the right.
And also watch number 46, Adger Armstrong. He does a great job of kicking Mark Lee out. Wilder cuts up inside, and you see the blocking there by his offensive line. And James Wilder, he certainly knows what to do when he gets that little bit of running room.
Did you see the hit that Flynn put on Wilder and drove him backwards? Tommy Flynn, 41, is just 6 feet and 195 pounds, and he took Wilder on head-to-head. 3rd and 5. Blitz is on. DeBerg's in trouble and unloads. In the flat at the 25, 2 yards shy of first down yardage is James Wilder in the grasp of number 59 for the Green Bay Packers, Johnny Anderson. So the Packer defense is stiffened, and Frank Garcia, who put the thrill back into the punting game earlier this afternoon, will come out again. Packer defense played a pretty good first half.
Well, they certainly did. The time they spent on the football field, they did a good job, even though Tampa moved the ball regularly and James Wilder had a great first half. They still only had 7 points on the scoreboard, and that's the bottom line.
Good kick by Garcia. It backs Flynn up to the 29-yard line. Looks for blockers, and nobody's home. Excellent special teams coverage by Danny Spradlin, the reserve linebacker out of Tennessee. So the Pack starts 1st and 10 from inside their own 30-yard line. 11:09 left to go in the third quarter. 27 of the Packers. Lynn Dickey will try to get the offense on track. Lofton, mentally not in the game, has had at least 3 drop passes that should have been caught. Not a good omen. Epps goes out wide to the left, and the lone running back is number 31, Gary Ellis. Fake pitch to Ellis. They've got it set up to Epps. Epps dives to the 35, about 3 yards shy of first down yardage. We've been talking about the gloves that some of the players have been wearing. In fact, most of the wide receivers. We thought we'd take a chance to show you those gloves right now with Drew.
Well, this is the type of glove most players are using nowadays. They used to come out with the leather gloves. It was a problem when they got wet, so they went to the scuba glove. And this is just a rubber glove. It's insulated inside. It's rough grain on the outside. And the most amazing thing about it is the football, when it touches it, it just sticks there. You look at it and you say, how can I catch a football with these things on? But it's amazing you can come up with it.
2nd and 3. Dive play over the middle up near the 37-yard line. Goes number 21, Ray Krause, one of those running rebels out of Nevada, Las Vegas. Interesting that Ray Krause, number 21 for Green Bay, and Melvin Carver, number 28 for Tampa Bay, played in the same high school, junior college, and college team together. They went to Encino High School in Oakland. Carver was a quarterback. Krause was a fullback. They went to Laney Junior College in Oakland. They both split duty at the fullback spot, and also at Nevada, Las Vegas, where Carver was a free agent, signed on with Tampa Bay. Ray Krause went on to Canada before he came back to Green Bay.
That's amazing. I would say they're lifelong buddies.
Kaufman and West, double tight end, 3rd and 1 for the Packers, who are 2 out of 7 on 3rd down conversions. Eddie Lee Ivory, 1st down and more. At the 47-yard line of Green Bay, Beasley Reese saved a touchdown, but watch the blocking on the left side by Huffman, 74, Drexler, 61. And Hallstrom, 65.
Well, they needed this 1 yard bad because their offense has been struggling throughout the game. You see the blocking by the offensive line for the Green Bay Packers. Also the tight end, Ed West, getting into the play. A big hole there for Eddie Lee Ivory as he takes it for the 1st down.
10:06 left to go. 3rd quarter. It's been a scoreless game for the Green Bay Packers, whose offense has sputtered. Lofton right, Epps left. Ray Krause chopped down at the 49-yard line. A pickup of about 1. It'll bring up 2nd down and 9. Dave Logan, 76, the nose tackle. And you know, when you play on a team with Hugh Green and Leroy Selman, you're sometimes overlooked, but Dave Logan is a fine football player.
Oh, he's an excellent nose tackle, one of the best nose tackles in the National Football League. And the thing about Dave Logan, he really gets to the quarterback. A lot of times the nose tackle will be in so much traffic that he can't put the pressure on the quarterback. And Dave Logan has 5 quarterback sacks and 20 quarterback pressures. But despite all that traffic, he still gets to the quarterback.
2nd and 8 as Dickey backpedals, looks for Kaufman, goes instead to number 25, Harlan Huckleby, who drops the ball at the 40-yard line of Tampa Bay.
Well, that's at least six drop footballs I've seen on the Green Bay side today.
You know what's interesting about it, too? Packers are playing at home. They had a chance to practice in this weather all week long. They're used to this kind of weather, so it's mental mistakes on these drop passes. The Packers, they had that great Monday night game. They threw the ball all night long out in Denver and didn't have any trouble catching the ball.
They have the weapons. They have the offensive attack. They have a great offensive scheme. But, you know, if the players don't come up with the plays, if they don't execute, then all that is for naught.
Dickey bends in on 3rd and 8, slot to the left. Epps is inside, Lofton outside. Comes right back on a crossing pattern to Epps, and Epps had the Green Bay 1st down. Over the middle in what we have come to refer to this year as the Drew zone, that crossing pattern.
Yeah, that's the part of the field that most receivers don't like to go in to catch the football.
Forrest Gregg is not going to like this ball.
There is a penalty on the play. They're going to bring it back.
Holding against the Packers.
And that's what really kills your football team. It takes away the continuity of your offense or even the defense because those penalties.
Holding, number 74, offense.
This penalty.
Repeat 3rd down.
This penalty in particular is going to take the field position away from Green Bay.
Frustration written all over the face of that man. Huffman was the culprit on the holding call. Ask Forrest Gregg at the Packer practice how you motivate a team coming in with a record of 5-8 in a meaningless game. He grit his teeth a little bit. He said, these men are paid professionals. They will perform or they will be gone. Message got across, didn't it?
That's right.
3rd and 18. Batted up in the air and intercepted at the 27-yard line by John Cannon. 1st and 10 for the Bucs. Cannon deflected the ball and had enough presence to stay on his feet and then pull it down. John Cannon, who's a lifeguard at the Jersey Shore, not far from your old high school.
Number 74, offense, decline, 1st down,
Watch
Tampa
Cannon.
Bay.
That's his first career interception.
Oh, great catch, great dive. Maybe you have to consider him for a tight end position after making a catch like that.
Another turnover against the Green Bay Packers.
He just overpowered Tim Huffman on the play to get to the put the pressure on the quarterback and knock the pass away and come up with the interception.
You can see on that shot, the center of the football field is just a quagmire here at Green Bay.
Well, a lot of action's been played to this part of the football field, and it's really taking its toll.
Armstrong in motion to the top of your screen. The flea flicker, and the Packers sipped it out. That is Robert Brown in his third year out of VPI, a fourth-round pick 2 years ago, and he stayed in his lane.
That time Robert Brown certainly wasn't fooled by the flea flicker, but also was watching the Packer defensive secondary. They had things well covered downfield, but you see Brown take the inside release to get to DeBerg before he can get that ball off on the flea flicker, and that's Brown's fourth sack of the season.
How about Steve DeBerg? He expects to get the ball, look downfield, to see Kevin House streaking downfield. You see a 6'2", 255-pound lineman in your face.
It makes you want to eat that football.
He did. First and 22. Now, they ask for a dry ball. I think you leave the ball on the ground.
Yeah, you don't pick the ball up and start asking. You kind of raise and leave the ball there, then ask.
Steve Wilson, the center, number 50, 9-year veteran out of Georgia. He said, wait a minute. He picked the ball up, and it cost him 5.
And you just kind of raise up, and anyway, you let your quarterback make that type of call. If they can't hear, let the quarterback make that call. The offensive line should yell something to the quarterback.
Center on the offense, still second down.
Should tell something to the quarterback, make him aware of that, and the quarterback can ask the referee for time to regroup and get the next play off.
Bucks were in good shape. The original line of scrimmage is the 27-yard line of Tampa. They're backed up now at the 44. DeBerg backpedaling in the slot. Unloads, wide open. Inside the 40 is Kevin House, out of bounds at the 30. So he got back a little of the sack and a little of the penalty.
Nice move by Kevin House on the sideline to avoid the contact. Kind of ran out of bounds, stepped out of bounds there, and the two Green Bay defenders ran head on to each other.
The numbers are rapidly disappearing. You see on that shot, we still can make out the yard markers because the NFL requested that they be painted orange or yellow. I wish they'd have done that in the Denver game in the snow.
I don't think it would have made any difference in that situation.
You needed Ron Meyer's snowplow in that game.
Right.
Third and 12. Motion coming the other way by House. DeBerg unloads, wide open inside the 20. First down by James Wilder. Tempers flaring down at the 40-yard line. Ezra Johnson having words with Glenn Bujnak. Bujnak, of course, trying to keep Ezra, who's about the size of a condominium, off his quarterback.
Well, Tampa Bay's really mixing up their plays well on that play. That time they crossed Gerald Carter and James Wilder, and whoever the defense goes with, that time they went with Carter, left Wilder wide open, and DeBerg spotted him, picked up another first down on the 14.
James Wilder, 5 catches, 34 yards, 23 carries, 87 yards, 112 yards total offense. And here he comes again. Down to about the 12. 2 tough yards in the grasp of Rich Wingo. .17 left to go in this third quarter. The Packers have failed to score in almost 3 quarters of football. Something you don't expect when you've got a healthy Eddie Lee Ivory, James Lofton, and Paul Kaufman. Second down 8. DeBerg bends in. Kevin House wide to the left. Gerald Carter, top of your screen. Oh, Jimmy Giles was wide open. Bell got the touchdown. Jerry Bell.
Well, he put a move on Tom Flynn in that secondary to break open, and DeBerg spotted him.
There was a toss-up. Who was more wide open? Giles in the right corner of the end zone or on the post pattern. Number 82, Jerry Bell. Look from behind DeBerg.
Again, great protection for DeBerg. You see Bell breaking into the pitcher. The beaten Tom Flynn trailing behind. 13-yard touchdown.
Well, what set it up was the play action, and that was the rap on the rookie out of Pittsburgh earlier in the year, that he would bite on the play action. But he's a rookie, and he'll learn. He's got great study habits, great instincts and reads, but that time he made a rookie mistake, and it cost 7 points. Obed Aruri out of the hold of DeBerg. 14-0 Tampa Bay. Let's take another look at Jerry Bell's touchdown catch. DeBerg says, hey, Wilder's got a touchdown toss. I better get one myself.
See Jerry Bell's release off the line. He takes the outside release. That outside release, Tom Flynn thinks he's going to run a corner route. He crosses him up, comes back to the post, catches it for the touchdown. Tampa Bay leads.
Drive after the interception by John Cannon that he created when he deflected the pass by Lynn Dickey. Took only a minute 9 seconds. It went 28 yards in 5 plays. 13-yard pass from quarterback Steve DeBerg, who is 17 of 25 for 176 yards. Well, the old fire drill.
Everybody was ready, but nobody kicked the ball. So Buccaneers, he's trying to get that running start to the football. He's sliding along.
Well, he made a smart move by not kicking the ball because the players would have been offside.
That's right.
Besides, I don't think he would have got all of it, as they say. They're going to put mudcocks on Obed. This is a bad kick at the 33-yard line. It gives the Packers great field position. Darryl Jones, the rookie out of Georgia, took that line drive kick. And though Obed may have seen snow before, he's not seen a quagmire.
Well, I think Obed should start considering wearing longer cleats on his plant foot to try to get better brace on his kicks. It seems like he's sliding quite a bit before he kicks that ball. And this is really a dangerous kick because the kickoff return or kickoff coverage people are thinking the ball is going deep, and they're looking it's going to be short. And a lot of times the short kick, they can split the difference there and take it all the way to the touchdown.
19-yard return by the man you saw in that sideline shot, Darryl Jones. So it sets up the Packers in great field position at the 49. Batted down at the line of scrimmage again. John Cannon again.
Well, good thing it was batted down that time because James Lofton ran a inside route on the cornerback Jeremiah Castile, and he was wide open, and Dickey was looking for him.
Watch Logan, Cannon, and Keith Browner, the rookie from USC, from the left-hand side of your screen.
A lot of times you work to get that penetration, but you can't get it. You can't get that pressure on the quarterback, so defensive coaches always teaches the defensive linemen to get those hands up when the quarterback releases that ball. You never know when you're going to come up with a block.
2nd and 10. Play action fake to Eddie Lee Ivory. Dickey unloads. He's got number 85, Bill Epps, on a crossing pattern. And I think Dickey's starting to go away from James Lofton. He said enough of this drop business already. Epps is catching the ball.
Well, they know James Lofton is the man that's going to get them back in this football game. He's the game breaker. So Tampa Bay is really doubling Lofton up. So Lofton's going to become a decoy. And Bill Epps will get the man-to-man coverage like he does here. He works inside. He comes up with the play. Nice pass by Lynn Dickey.
I'm a little surprised the Packers aren't using Paul Kaufman more.
Well, that should open up Kaufman also because they'll be putting that double coverage on James Lofton. Somebody should be open.
Epps right, Lofton left. Dickey to Eddie Lee Ivory in the flat. Nice move inside the 30, and he barrels forward down to about the 27. So it'll bring up 2nd down. Penalty flags all over the field now. This has been a very spirited game. Big rivalry. The NFC Central, the Packers, the Bucks, they meet twice a year. Their last 2 games have gone overtime. Gordon McCarter had a busy first half. Decides to leave his mic off this time.
Got another controversial call here. Officials are discussing the situation, trying to come up with a solution.
I think if you're a head coach, every call is controversial. So much rides on it.
Well, this year more so than ever I can remember in the National Football
Personal
League.
fouls occurred after the ball was dead. Number 52 on the defense, number 65 on the offense. Penalties offset, 2nd down.
That's that free fight.
Well, it's all right if both sides get caught.
College basketball coming your way next Saturday on CBS Sports. Nevada, Las Vegas, one of the top teams in the West, coming east for a showdown with the top-ranked Georgetown Hoyas of John Thompson. You're going to look a long one at Patrick Ewing, considered by many to be the premier player in college basketball. This, we think, is the first real test for Georgetown this year as they continue their quest to repeat as the national champions. Next Saturday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, here on CBS Sports. Wide open is Kaufman, and that's a Green Bay first down at the Tampa Bay 10. I said the tight end. Kaufman's just got, I think he's got the best hands on the club.
Well, he probably does. He's best tight end of best hands of any tight end in the National Football Conference for sure. But there's a defensive secondary. It's going to be his own defense. You see the 3 deep playing across the field. And Kaufman works between the linebackers and the deep part of the zone. And Lynn Dickey just finds him. Picks up a big first down. Ball on the 10-yard line.
Dickey now 11 of 24 for just 104 yards. But if he can get the Packers in the end zone, we've still got 5:05 left to go in the third quarter. We've got a football game. Motion across. That's Epps. Underneath, inside the 5-yard line. And a great effort by Kaufman. I mean, he took that one right off his ankles.
I can't believe he caught that ball. Great catch.
Either can Tampa Bay.
Lynn Dickey was going back, dropping back. He almost fell on the play. Was able to get the ball off. You see Kaufman taking the inside release, gets a good chuck there by the linebacker, but he works off of that chuck right inside. Looks like pass interference, but the ball goes right past Jeff Davis, the linebacker, and Kaufman comes up with great concentration to make the catch.
I don't know about that.
It was questionable.
I saw a little turf.
Well, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Saw a little mud. Inside to Eddie Lee Ivory. Touchdown, Green Bay.
Now fans respond.
Watch the blocking on the right side by Ron Hallstrom, number 65. He's the right guard. The right tackle is Greg Cook. Blocking left side of your screen.
Hallstrom's a big one in there. He's 6'6", 283. They just create a big hole for Eddie Lee Ivory. He breaks a couple tackles, keeps his balance, takes it in for the touchdown.
Now look at Ray Krause helping with the call. He had to get out of the way. He said, wait a minute, I'm on your side.
He's the first one to see it, the first one to call it.
Out of the hold of Bucky Scribner, the punter, Al Del Greco will try to make it a 7-point Packer deficit. Long way to go. 19 minutes left to go. We'll take another look at that 4-yard touchdown run by Eddie Lee Ivory. The only score for the Packers so far from ground level. Again, the blocking by Cook and Hallstrom down low. The Pack is back. They have crept back to within 7. And Green Bay back in this football game, trailing by just 7 points. Let's see if Del Greco fares any better than O'Reilly. Not really. Footing is very treacherous in the middle of the field, and both kickers, Drew, can't seem to find the handle when they get to the ball. You might see the punters come in on kickoffs. Next week on CBS Sports, on Saturday, a special edition of the NFL Today. Preceding that Vikings game against the San Francisco 49ers, the NFL Today will take a special look at football, the state of the game, as it relates to television coverage over the years, the officials, the problems they've had with some inconsistencies. Should there be an instant replay? Brent Musburger takes a look at the state of the game. It all starts with the NFL Today, 3:30 Eastern Time.
There is no foul. We will pick up the flag. We're pushing it back by the kicking team is perfectly legal.
No foul, says Gordon McCarter. Well, we've got a second. When we take a look at the state of the game, there'll be a special CBS Sports New York Times poll of the fans. They'll have a chance to react. I think the questionnaire had 35 or 40 questions on it, so it's going to be a very interesting feature, and it's next Saturday, special edition of the NFL Today. So we hope you join Brent, Herb, the Greek, et al. Before that 49er Viking game. Over the right side, approaching the 35-yard line, goes Adger Armstrong. I want to go back to that Tampa Bay, or the Green Bay drive for just a second, because I think it tells you an awful lot about Forrest Gregg and the character of this football team. Tampa Bay takes a 14-0 lead. The Packers go 49 yards in 6 plays and use up only 2:42 on the clock with a drive of their own. They could have folded up their tent.
Easily could have folded. They're in a situation where, they're not playing for anything, not in the playoffs or division titles or anything. It would have been easy for the players, the Packer football team, to give up and say, hey, let's head for the showers, but they didn't do it. They stuck right there.
Complete at the 46-yard line, and that will be to Gerald Carter. And now they say it is an incomplete catch. Jerry Bell, who has the touchdown reception, comes over to argue, but I've yet to see a player win an argument with an official. Now DeBerg not happy with it either. He said, wait a minute. Steve DeBerg. You know, it's interesting that the Broncos are rooting for Steve DeBerg to do very well since he came to Tampa Bay. Let's take a look and see if this is a catch or not.
Again, that great protection. DeBerg kind of brings it in there, but the ball is a little short. It just kind of falls on it. Doesn't get his arms underneath it. No catch.
5 defensive backs. Estes Hood, 38 in there now. Fumble the ball. DeBerg in trouble. It looks like a rugby scrum, and the Packers have it. John Henderson, 59, comes out with it, but it again, Drew, looked like a rugby scrum.
Well, DeBerg lost the snap there in the middle of that field where all the mud is. And he loses it. No one can find it. And Anderson comes up with it. See the ball laying on the turf. DeBerg tried to pick it up. He should have just fell on it. Salvaged the play. No one can find it. Everybody's in the pack. The ball squirts out. And there's John Anderson to pick it up.
So we've got 3:13 left to go, and all of a sudden, the Green Bay Packers, a dramatic comeback. A bad man 27 yards away from tying up this game.
Again, they got the crowd on their side. The crowd has got behind them.
Slot to the right. Lofton outside. Epps is inside. Dickey won't waste time. Over the middle. Epps intercepted by the Bucs. That is Beasley Reese, former New York Giant, known as the postbuster down Tampa Bay away. That interception not the fault of Lynn Dickey. Off the arms of Phil Epps. Dave Logan putting pressure on Dickey. He's just kicking at the dirt. He is really unhappy as he comes off the field. But watch the ball deflected by Epps.
Well, I think the problem here, Jim, was that Dickey wanted to go outside, but he changed it, goes back inside, but he throws it a little too hard, and Epps just can't hold on to it. But you got to come up with that catch. That's the tip drill. 14-7.
Bird couldn't find the handle, but they got it right back on the next play after that interception by Beasley Reese. James Wilder goes nowhere. The rookie out of Florida State, Alfonso Carricker, came crashing through. Again, he's a man that Forrest Gregg said deserved to be a #1 draft pick.
He's a very aggressive player. A lot of times it's hard to pick up passing moves being a rookie, but he plays the run very well.
You know what he does? He studies film. He takes a projector home and puts in extra time at home.
Well, he's big, 6'6", 260. There's over 9,000 no-shows, and
smart
this weather, probably smart.
3 to 7 inches of snow, the forecast, 32 degrees when we kicked off, but that's Packer weather. They were tailgating. They were out here at 8:30 this morning having a good time.
Couldn't believe they were tailgating out here.
Penalty flag is down. Jerry Bell deflected and intercepted by Lewis. Timmy Lewis. This play is still on. He fumbles the ball and then falls on it at the Tampa Bay 34. Now let's check the penalty call. I believe it was motion against Tampa Bay, so the interception should stand. Maybe Robert Brown jumped offside for Green Bay. Let's see.
It's Green Bay.
Oh, boy.
I'm real impressed with Timmy Lewis. He's really come on. Last year I had an opportunity to play against him when he was the #1 draft choice, and the Packers expected so much out of him. The fans expected so much out of him, but he just wasn't comfortable in his position. He was a holdout.
Number 93 defense repeats second down.
He was a holdout before his rookie season, but this year he had a full training camp, and he's really come on, also with the help of Ken Riley, the new secondary coach for the Green Bay Packers. He has great hands for a defensive back.
Let's talk about the influence of Kenny Riley after this snap, because he has really helped that secondary. It's 1st and 11 now. 2nd and 11. Incomplete at the 37-yard line. Looking for Jerry Bell, who has a touchdown catch. Ken Riley, you talked with Forrest Gregg about him on Saturday.
Well, Ken Riley has been a big addition. 15 years he's played with the Cincinnati Bengals. He's all-pro numerous times. And, you know, Forrest Gregg coached him in Cincinnati. He said he's going to bring this guy over here to Green Bay. And he's been a big influence for the secondary. The secondary is a lot more aggressive. They come up and they play their receivers off the line of scrimmage. Used to be in the past, Green Bay would give you a lot of room in the passing game, but now they play these guys up close to the line of scrimmage, and it really disrupts the offensive passing attacks, and most of it to the responsibility of Ken Rowland. He's done a super job.
DeBerg bends in now, looking at 3rd and 11, and the way the ball's been going, it's kind of be careful time. Blitz is on. DeBerg, nothing doing. This Green Bay defense is really fired up. Look at Anderson there with Pearson.
Well, things have really changed here in the second half. The momentum has swung to Green Bay's side, and Tampa Bay now can't do anything right, and Green Bay's doing everything right.
And in a precarious position in the shadow of his own end zone is the punter, Garcia. He had one snap sail over his head. He pulled down and passed.
Kind of hold your breath here. You're a Tampa Bay fan.
All the kickers. Place kickers, punters having tough time on the footing. He gets it away, does a little acting job. Flynn says stay away from the ball, so it'll be good field position for the Packers. They will start at the Tampa Bay 47-yard line. The only Green Bay drive went 49 yards. They start now from 47 yards away. And still 1:15 left to go in the third quarter. A long way to go. Keep in mind, these two teams, the last 2 times they've met, have gone to overtime. Total in the NFC East, or the Packers against the Bears. Then everybody gets the game. Skins and Cowboys. Eddie Lee Ivory around that left side, not much doing. Gets maybe back to the 45-yard line for a pickup 2. And that brings up 2nd down and 8 yards to go. Scott Brantley, number 52, in there on the tackle. You want an injury list. How about Scott Brantley this year? He's had injuries to both his knees, both of his shoulders. He's had a finger dislocated, a problem with his nose, a problem with his ear. Even had oil spilled all over his car when he was on the way to the stadium one time, yet he still has started all 13 games. He said hitting is more fun than sitting on the sidelines.
He's 2nd in tackles on this team also for Tampa Bay.
Lynn Dickey wide open is Kaufman. First down inside the 25, inside the 20, inside the 15. Beasley Reese saved the touchdown. Paul Kaufman churned the last 15 yards like a locomotive.
He's showing why he's an all-pro tight end, one of the best tight ends in the National Football League. Are you going to see Dickey? He's looking downfield for his wide receiver. He gets that great time and waits for Kaufman to come across. And watch this, after the run, after the catch, he makes a run. Who's going to bring him down?
Talk about individual effort. Paul Kaufman. That's the end of the third quarter. And Dickey fires inside the 5. Down at the 1-foot line, Bill Epps. A great diving catch.
Great catch and a great throw by Lynn Dickey. Drilled it on the money. Beasley Reese came in a pitcher to try to knock it away. Watch number 43. Watch him come diving in a pitcher. Can't come up with the play, and Epps makes the catch on the 1-yard line.
First and goal from about the half-foot line. Can't get much closer to the goal line without getting a touchdown. Dickey, 14 of 28, 154 yards, and almost his 2nd touchdown. Touchdown, Green Bay. Lynn Dickey over the right side behind Hallstrom and Cook again. We have mentioned throughout the telecast that the last 2 games between the Packers and the Bucs ended in overtime. Green Bay won the last on a field goal. There goes Dickey. I'm not sure that with the problems Lynn Dickey has had this season with his back, I want my quarterback going over the right side of the line.
I don't think Tampa was expecting Dickey to go in there either, but he took it in for the touchdown.
Big extra point is good. So we have played just over 3 quarters here in Green Bay. It was all Tampa Bay early, but the Pack, ironically enough, is his 2nd rushing touchdown of the year. So from the 35-yard line, Al Del Greco will kick to number 20, Michael Morton. Morton back at about his own 10. And both the kickers, Del Greco, Obed Aruri, they've been having problems with their placement kicks. They just can't get the footing. Again, it's like a quagmire. See how that turf has been chewed up. Michael Morton falls on it, picks it up across the 15. Nice return back to the 20. Now we've got fisticuffs down at about the 30-yard line. Darrell Jones, who's been playing very well on specialty teams, the Packer that made the tackle on Michael Morton. Well, the month of December, CBS Sports coverage of NCAA basketball will feature the nation's top teams. Next Saturday, a talented run and rebel team from Nevada, Las Vegas will head east for a showdown with top-ranked Georgetown. Then in 2 weeks, again, you'll see the Hoyas. They'll play host to second-ranked DePaul, where Joey Meyer has replaced his dad as the coach. December 22nd from the Madison Square Garden, UCLA takes on Lou Carnesecca's Redmond of St. John. Those are just some of the good games you're going to be seeing in December on the home of the NCAA Championship, CBS Sports. James Wilder. And the Bucks, they need some first downs.
They got to get back in this football game. Offensively, they haven't done anything in the second half. The big first half, and it's really taken its toll because they didn't take advantage of the mistakes Green Bay made in the first half. They only had a 7-0 lead. Now this game is tied up as we see the big hole there for James Wilder to run through. That's the first big opening he has gotten in the second half.
26 carries and 90 yards for the locomotive James Wilder. He had 43 carries the first two times. For the first time these two teams hooked up in Tampa. Second and a short one. Wilder will not get it. Chopped down by Rich Wingo out of Alabama in his 5th year. He came up and sealed it off. And the Packer defense, you can see, has taken command of the game.
That's a big play for the Packer defense. They've been making these big plays in the second half. It's really turned this football game around.
Now a big third down play, 3rd and 3. Tampa 4 out of 12 on third down conversions, but on 3rd and 3 you would expect Wilder to get the call or maybe play action to Wilder to try to hold the linebackers. But if the Bucks don't pick up a first down here, the way that defense of Green Bay has been playing, it'll set up the offense in good field position. There are 2 Green Bay scoring drives, 49 and 47 yards. That's a short field.
It's hard to call a play for 3rd and 3.
They'll throw for it. No, they won't. Terry Jones, who's been magnificent at the nose tackle spot, 7th year, another Alabama boy, 6'2", 260 pounds. He'll be in the middle of the screen, and he will come right in on DeBerg.
Well, it's amazing. Off for the first half, DeBerg was getting excellent timing, and now Green Bay is fired up. They're getting pressure on the quarterback, DeBerg. See Terry Jones there just beat his man. Gets the quarterback, puts him away.
The masked marvel again, Frank Garcia in to do the kicking. You can see he's all bandaged up there. That's not a bandage, though. It's insulation to try to stay warm here in Green Bay. Tommy Flynn waits at the 50-yard line. The Packers will have great field position again. Garcia gets a good kick away. Flynn called for the fair catch at the 40-yard line. So we've got 12:15 left to go in regulation. The Bucks played in the glorious history of the Green Bay Packers. Back with a good comeback this afternoon. Stealing the game in the second half from Tampa Bay, who built up a 14-0 lead. Slot to the right side. Hoffman and X. Gary Ellis dances across the 40, the 45, the 50, the 45, inside the 40. He did all of it on his own. Leroy Selman came crashing through and chopped him down from behind. Frustration written all over the face of John McKay. It has been that kind of a season.
You can see the disappointment in him. It's, like you said, Jim, it's been that kind of a season for him. The teams have had leads, blown leads, been in games, but just haven't always come up on the short end. You see from the end zone here, Dickey going back. He thinks Tampa Bay's going to come, and they do. So they run a screen. And watch the run by Gary Ellis. A good block there by Hallstrom to spring Ellis. And once he gets that ball in the secondary, he's tough to bring down.
1st and 10 Packers from the 38. Here goes Ray Krause around the left side. And Krause keeps on turning, spinning, breaks the tackle inside the 30.
They hit out of bounds.
Right in front of the Packer bench, a personal foul late hit will cost the Bucks 15 big ones. John Cannon He's the man.
Well, this time the advantage of the wet jersey helped Ray Krause. Ray Krause on this play. He gets outside. The linebacker there can't make out of his number. Grabs him. Looks like he has him away, but he loses him because he slips right out of that wet jersey there and picks up some extra yards. You see Lofton working downfield, trying to get a block, and then you see the late hit.
Unnecessary roughness. Late hit out of bounds. Number 78 on the defense. First and 10.
That's only the 8th first down of the game by Green Bay, yet they're tied up 14-all. A costly penalty by Cannon moves the ball even deeper into Tampa Bay territory. And maybe we could get a shot of number 80, James Lofton, back in the huddle. The reason I want to point it out, Ivory's got 5 catches, Krause has 2, Epps has 3, Kaufman, the tight end, has 3. And how about Lofton wide to the left, number 80? How many catches do you think he's got?
He's got 0. That's why his uniform is so clean.
Eddie Lee Ivory bangs inside the 10, goes crashing down to the 9.
But I guarantee you, before this is over, James Lofton will be a factor in this football game. I got that type of feeling.
Well, he's a factor because he commands double coverage wherever he goes, but the fact is he's had 3 very easy balls thrown to him that he's dropped.
They might go to him in this situation, Jim, down here by the goal line. They've been neglecting him, going to Kaufman and Epps. You can't relieve the coverage on Lofton a little.
He's like you on the post pattern. You really can't cover.
We love it. We love it.
Ray Krause got a convoy. He's got a touchdown, too.
High stepping through the end zone.
The play action fake to Eddie Lee Ivory. And then they dump it off to Ray Krause. And all of a sudden, after a 14-0 Tampa Bay lead, it is 20-14 Green Bay. And a very important extra point coming up here for Al Del Greco, trying to make it a 7-point lead and force the Bucs to go all the way to tie it up. Out of the hole to Bucky Scribner, the punter. Crowd will tell you on this one.
Fumble the snap.
That has been the theme of the second half. The problems that both the place kickers have had. That one, a fumbled snap. And as you take a look again, that could be a very costly missed extra point.
Again, a wet ball, so what is part of the football field, and Scribner just couldn't put it down. Let's just try to salvage the play here. It's all over.
Now let's take another look. Watch the play action fake to Eddie Lee Ivory right there, and then wide open. Ray Krause, there's the convoy, there's the touchdown. The Pack leads the Bucs in a quagmire field at Lambeau Field. Bucs, if they don't fumble, will have good field position. That is number 54, Richard Wood, taking the ball back to the 35 of Green Bay. And that's the first opportunity we've had today to call Richard Wood's number. Richard Wood, a very close personal friend of Ricky Bell, and we talked at the first half of the game about the passing at the age of 29, the tragedy of this young man, and all the Buck players wearing his number on their helmets today. Richard Wood read from the Bible and read a book of poetry after learning of the death of his former college and professional roommate. And a lot of the Tampa Bay players will be heading to Los Angeles for Ricky Bell's funeral, including Coach John McKay at the end of this game. Fake to Wilder, and DeBerg in trouble. Unloads in the general direction of a Tampa Bay receiver. But Robert Brown, he was putting all sorts of heat on DeBerg, and you could almost feel it. That was time of possession in the first half that Drew alluded to when we looked at the first half statistics. Overwhelmingly Tampa Bay. Now in the second half, and the Green Bay scoring drives, Drew, 2 minutes and 42 seconds to go 49 yards, 2 minutes and 1 second to go 47 yards, and a minute 40 to go 60 yards.
Oh, wow. They think they're in Tampa. They forgot where they are.
There's a van outside. People have white coats and a net looking for those three. Wide open, incomplete over the middle, looking for Jimmy Giles.
Well, field position has been the story here in the second half. Green Bay has gotten all the good field position and taken advantage of it. In the first half, Tampa Bay had the field position, but he couldn't take advantage of it. Only came out of the first half with 7 points, and therefore they're down at this point 20-14.
John McKay. Frustrating season. Frustrating last couple of seasons. An 0-8 beginning a year ago, 0-2 beginning this year. Said, what could he do to try to change things around? He finally decided the only thing he could do was to step down. 3rd and 10 for the Bucs, who are digging themselves a deep hole. Estes Hood in for the Packers as a nickel back, and DeBerg is down. Oh my! Charles Martin, number 94, a free agent out of Livingston. DeBerg did not have a prayer. I want to tell you a story about Charles Martin. He is 6'4", 270 pounds, and a very pleasant surprise from head coach Forrest Gregg. He was released by the Birmingham Stallions in the USFL. He went up and played in Canada. He was cut by a Canadian team. The CFL coach called up Forrest Gregg and said, he couldn't help us, but I think he might be able to help you. All he needs is a chance. He's got 4.8 speed. You'll see it here. Well, Forrest Gregg gave him a chance. He comes in a nickel situation, plays a defensive tackle. And you talk about a career getting a shot in an arm. That man, Charles Martin, performing well for the Pack. Garcia hangs one up to Tommy Flynn. In traffic to the 35. Across the 40. Down at the 43-yard line. The Packers in business in good field position again. Back at Green Bay. Tampa Bay in trouble. Good field position for the Packers again. They start now from their own 43. Lofton to the right. Epps to the left. Krause in the backfield with Gary Ellis. Krause banging forward. It's Eddie Lee Ivory. Check it. Up to the 40. That big hole on the right side by Hallstrom and Cook again. My apologies, but the uniforms are getting a little muddy.
Again, they're getting that good blocking up front. And Eddie Lee Ivory takes it through the hole. Missed tackles there by Tampa Bay defense. You can't do that to a back like Eddie Lee Ivory. He'll hurt you.
Look at the uniforms of Tampa Bay's defensive players. You cannot make out a number.
They didn't play that much in the first half, but they're getting their share of work in the second half.
Yeah, and they're back on their heels right now. 1st and 10 at the 40 of Tampa Bay. Ray Krause after a pickup of 2 around the right side. You start doing a little scoreboard watching now, Drew, because if Tampa Bay should allow another score, it forces them to have to score twice.
That's right. This is a big drive, big series for Green Bay. They could put this game out of reach with a touchdown here. So the touchdown is very important to them. So it's got a 2nd and 7 situation. And really don't like these types of situations, but the momentum Green Bay has had in the second half, they seem like they can overcome anything.
You saw the fog rolling in, along with the snow and rain that we've had earlier. Eddie Lee Ivory dives down inside the 35, keeps on spinning down to about the 32-yard line. And while they unpile, we'll remind you that this telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience, and any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Green Bay Packers and the National Football League is prohibited. The way Tampa Bay's defense has performed and their offense in the second half, John McKay wouldn't want any other use.
Players shaking up on that. Can't make out the number. It's Dave Logan. As our spotter, Billy Wandell, tells us.
Billy Wandell doing yeoman's work all season long. He was with me in that Snow Bowl game out in Denver. You couldn't see the yardage markers, let alone the numbers. And here in a quagmire, he knows them by instinct. The man looks at hours of film each week. Was here at the stadium at 8:30 this morning. Lynn Dickey goes airborne on 3rd and 2, flares to Ray Krause, and Ray Krause is very close to a first down. He had to get up to the 30. It'll depend on the spot. But I believe even on 4th down that Forrest Gregg would go for it. I think you're in a 4-down situation.
There's no question about it. That's what I would do in this situation. But I think they pick up the first down, or it's going to be very close. At least call for a measurement possible.
You know, you've got an interesting situation. John McKay retiring in 2 more games. Got to be disappointed with his team's performance so far in the second half. Feeling one set of emotions over on the Buccaneers sideline. And Forrest Gregg almost on the verge of being blown out in this game after losing a 14-point lead twice in Detroit. If he points to a game that maybe builds character for his young football team, I think it might be this one.
Well, I think so, because they're certainly demonstrating that character here this afternoon. And, you know, to be 5-8 coming into this game, and they got the first down as the crowd reacts. To be 5-8 coming into this game, it's easy to fold up your tent. And I know, fortunately, only one time in Dallas that we had to play with a no-win situation, no playoff situation at the end of the season. And I guarantee you, it's tough on the players to get up to play these types of games. But being the professionals that they are, and like McKay has said, and like Forrest Gregg has said, that these guys get paid to play regardless of what their record is. And, you know, both teams have demonstrated great character to make this an exciting football game here today.
It was interesting that each coach mirrored the other in their comment about what was almost a meaningless game except playing for pride. First and 10. Eddie Lee Ivory dives down to about the 27-yard line.
I thought it was
In the grasp of Hugh Green. 4th year out of Pittsburgh, All-American, All-World, along with Leroy Selman.
Well, this is Hugh Green's first game back, and he has been practicing with the team for the last 4 weeks. But practicing game conditions are completely different, and this is his first game back. He's been in and out of the action here today, but his presence on the field, you have to be concerned with Hugh Green, and it just makes Leroy Selman that much better because they both line up on the same side.
On 2nd and 6, Lofton left, Epps right, Krause and Eddie Lee Ivory, and a great defensive play, penetration there by Hugh Green again. And as I'm watching that play, I was just about to remark to you that the Tampa Bay defense really has to come up with a turnover here. They have to keep the Packers off the board.
Well, you know, for so many years, Tampa Bay defense has carried this football team, and they need the defense to carry them right now. They need to come up with a big play because Green Bay is continuing to drive in the second half.
Dave Logan has checked back in. You would expect a big play from Hugh Green, Leroy Selman, Dave Logan. They're the heart of that Tampa Bay defense. It's 3rd and 7. You think they'd blitz? Motion by Kaufman, the tight end. Dickey backpedaling. Looks outside to Ellis. Ellis catches it at the 29. That's a first down for the Packers. And a penalty flag thrown from way across the field. It may be a late hit. The frustration of Tampa Bay.
I think it was a late hit, Jim, but it was a great catch by Gary Ellis on the play to make the play happen. And after he makes the catch, a great run.
Personal foul, the frustration of the Bucs. And the reason it was a great catch, the concentration of Gary Ellis, the ball was almost deflected. It was floated out there very dangerously by Dickey.
He doesn't have any gloves on either. He went up and put one up here and to try to stop the ball. He did. And he kind of just stuck there and fell right into his
Personal
lap.
foul, unnecessary roughness. Number 57 defense, blow to the head. Half the distance penalty. First down, goal to go.
Well, Dickey's looking to the side he wants to go to. He's checking out the coverage in the secondary as he drops back. And Selman's getting a little pressure on the quarterback. Watch him jump up, almost tipped the ball there. He doesn't do it. Watch this catch. Great concentration, great control on the football. And here's a great run right behind it. These are the types of plays the football team needs to make to stay in football games and control football games.
That late hit by Keith Browner made a rookie mistake. Ray Krause dives down to the 2.
Green Bay has brought in all the tight ends and running backs in this situation. They're going to just try to run it in. At the same time, chew up some clock.
You know, we talk about baseball being a game of inches. Football could be a game of inches, too. You saw in that replay so clearly how close Leroy came to deflecting the ball, and then how close Gary Ellis came to just being able to catch it on the fingertips. If either one goes a different way, or if he doesn't break the tackle, it's incomplete, 4th down, and a different complexion. But now, Green Bay about to nail things away. Gary Ellis back to the line of scrimmage. Excellent penetration that time by one of the linebackers for Tampa Bay, Jeff Davis, 3rd year out of Clemson. He's one of the strongest Buccaneers. He can bench press over 450 pounds, and he's got a vertical jump of 36 inches. What do you call here, partner, on 3rd and 2? Do you run it or do you got a little play action?
That's a good situation. They got the tight end offense, the goal line offense in here. Get him to think, run, pull it out. With the option to roll out with the quarterback or hit the tight end, coming across on the pass.
Eddie Lee Ivory dives for the winning Green Bay touchdown. Forrest Gregg told us yesterday, in crucial situations, we will run right. 3 times they have, behind Cook and Hallstrom, and that should just about salt it away.
Well, they've really dominated this second half. Got to give Green Bay all the credit in the world. They've really taken over the second half. Forrest Gregg must give a heck of a halftime speech to this football team.
You know, you're seeing old Green Bay Packer football, and you saw that great shot that Bob Daly, our director, cut when they lined up at the line of scrimmage. The bandages on the forearms as they lined up, the breath. You saw the turf shown up. The way football used to be played on muddied, bloodied stadium.
Fun time.
Del Greco makes good on the extra point, and the Packers, after trailing 14-0, have now run off 27 straight points.
Look at that action shot right there.
Look at the breath.
Look at the breath.
Bandages, the
The
mud.
dirt. Old-fashioned football at its finest. They're blowing him off the line of scrimmage. There's Eddie Lee Ivory. He sees that big hole, and he sees 6 points. Happy times for Green Bay and Eddie Lee Ivory.
There's no artificial carpet here. They go around the NFL today. The 49ers, no problem against hapless Atlanta. Kansas City and Denver, that could be a big upset as far as Seattle's concerned. And, of course, the Raiders, too. Buffalo looking to pull one out against the Colts, who are trying to come back. Houston playing Pittsburgh tough. Cleveland falling behind. They've been seesawing back and forth. That's final now. Cincinnati wins it by a field goal. Ironically, the Bengals and the Browns, 2 of Forrest Gregg's former teams. He is 3-0, Forrest Gregg is, in other battles against John McKay. Excuse me, having won one game once with the Browns and the Bengals twice against John McKay coached teams in Tampa Bay. That last drive, 57 yards, 10 plays, 5 minutes and 40 seconds. But really, you look at the short football field, 57 yards, 60 yards, 47 and 49 for 4 straight Green Bay touchdowns. Michael Morton across the 20 to the 24, and Tampa Bay, with 4:02 left to go, trails by 13 points. Obviously, Steve DeBerg will be passing for the next 4 minutes and 2 seconds and trying to get the Bucs back in it against a revved-up Green Bay defense. Tonight on CBS, a special lineup for you. First, of course, it all kicks off with 60 Minutes. Then the Christmas special. Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton. What a pair, huh?
Yes, sir.
And then the Circus of the Stars. Are you in that?
No, I'm not in that.
DeBerg to James Wilder. Wilder fighting for his life at the 30, trying to get to the first down marker, trying to get out of bounds to stop the clock. 3:48 and counting left to go.
Tampa needs not only 1 touchdown, but 2 touchdowns to pull this thing out. It's going to be very difficult.
Not a well-thrown ball, but given the condition of the field and the mud caked all over Steve DeBerg, he tried to release to Adger Armstrong. What does it do emotionally to the Bucs now? You have a 14-0 lead, and you've been scored on 27 straight points.
Well, they got to be disappointed. They got to be down. They got to be frustrated, hurt, everything else. And they got a long plane ride back to Tampa. So this thing is not over. They look like 2 football teams here today. First half they came out were dominant, but they only came away with a 7-point lead, and that was really the difference. They had so many opportunities to score and then take advantage of it. Second half, it's been all Green Bay. Tampa Bay has just been dominated by the Packers.
Ball in the hands of James Wilder, again with mud caked all over it, is a little difficult from high atop Landau Field to make out some of the numbers which have disappeared. Here come the chain gang. And this John McKay. Wonder what thoughts are going through his mind.
Well, right now he thinks he's got this first down. He's pretty sure of it. He sends DeBerg back in the game.
Whoa.
Barely, but they got it. Game of inches again, Jim.
John McKay, given us so many great quotes over the years. His game plan, he said, well, I'm going to run a little, I'm going to pass a little, I'm going to kick a little. If we don't kick too much, we'll be all right. Took over the Bucs as an expansion team, and you kind of get the feeling in talking to John that that really took its toll over the years. He never complained about the 0-26 beginning, but he told us at the hotel yesterday if he had it to do over again, he'd recommend a younger man, maybe about 21, do that same task. Over the middle, Theo Bell, he drops it at the 45. A sliding, diving try. Good effort by Bell, former Pittsburgh Steeler.
That's that Drew zone. You got to pay the price to catch him in there. You don't get nothing easy in the Drew zone.
Holding in the backfield of Tampa Bay. Gene Sanders, number 74, I believe, will be the culprit. So instead of 2nd and 10, it'll be 1st and 20 if the Packers accept the penalty.
Sanders must play with hooks on his hands because he's got called for holding about 3 times today.
Holding, number 74 on the offense. Penalty accepted, repeat first down.
I mean, everybody holds, but the key is don't get caught, right?
You know, as we look at the Bucs sideline and reflect on John McKay and some of those great quotes over the years, his team started out 0-26 before they won their first game. Finally, when they did win their first game, it was against the New Orleans Saints, and Hank Stram was the coach. Hank was so mad that he lost to the Buccaneers, he burned the game film. McKay said after an 0-26 start, he said, gentlemen, we may be back, but maybe not in this century. 1st and 20 for DeBerg. Looks for Wilder, finds him at the 30, gets back 8 yards of the penalty. It'll bring up 2nd down and long. And now we've got another fight. Flags all over it, and Gordon McCarter in the middle.
Mad Dog Douglas, Mike Douglas separates Mark Lee and James Wilder. I kind of would respect Douglas's discretion there.
You know, Douglas, we talked about his size. He's only 6 feet and about 215 pounds, but he takes great pride in his weight training program, and he says he actually thinks that he's stronger than most of the tight ends he has to go up against.
Well, certainly does. He's small. He's only about 6 foot. He gets that leverage on the tight ends, and he's a great athlete in high school. He ran 4.8 40. High jumped in high school, 6 feet 8. So he's a great athlete.
Shot put 59 feet.
Yeah, he's
unnecessary roughness both ways after the play. The penalty's offset. We will go to 2nd down.
I think I may call the NFL.
Timekeeper, please put 8 seconds back on the clock. The correct time remaining is 2 minutes 45 seconds. 2:45.
So they'll put 8 seconds back on the clock. That's the free fight rule again. I think when the rules committee looks into things, if there's a fight, maybe the players should sit out a play. There should be some kind of a penalty.
2:45 on the clock.
Yes, Gordon, we got it. There should be some kind of a penalty when you're involved in a fight, whether you sit out a series, a play, or something. You just shouldn't be allowed to have a free fight and then go back and strap it on.
Yeah, some type of infraction should be called against one of the players or both of the players. But the NFL really has control fighting in a National Football League by finding players that get involved in altercations that they're not supposed to be involved in. If you come off the bench to join a fight, you get fined. So that's really slowed down the balls in the National Football League.
Packers jumped off sides. The question is, were they drawn off sides? DeBerg puts up a rainbow. Tommy Flynn intercepts at the 40. Now we'll have to check the call and see if the Packers were off sides to negate the interception. Alfonso Carricker was the man who jumped off sides, but was he drawn off?
I think he's going to be victimized here. They're going to bring it back. That's the 2nd interception they have called back because of penalties.
While they straighten this out for our friends in Tampa Bay with Coach John McKay over on the sideline, with the theme of this broadcast, at least as far as Hugh Green and Leroy Selman are concerned.
Offside, number 76 defense. Holding, number 73 offense. Penalties offset. Repeat 2nd down.
So the interception will fall, and the down will be replayed at 2nd and 15. Again, Leroy Selman and Hugh Green told Drew and myself in the hotel yesterday that they're going to go to Mr. Culverhouse at the end of the season and recommend that Wayne Fontes, the defensive coordinator, be elevated to the position of head coach, replacing John McKay. Wayne has been with John McKay for 15 years at USC and with Of course, the Bucks and Wayne Fonts on John McKay said he never alibis. He never blames the players. He usually blames himself. And for all the mistakes that have hampered the Bucks over the last 2 years, Wayne Fonts has a word for it. He calls it the Maloik, the evil eye. Penalty flags down again. Wilder again at the 33-yard line. 2:31 left to go. Mark Lee back there on the coverage, and Gordon McCarter going to have a busy 2.5 minutes, I think. Both teams taking out a little frustration. A couple of cheap shots, some late hits. There is Wayne Fonts, the man who came up with that word, the Maloik, the evil eye.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Number 76, defense. Blow to the head, 15 yards, first down.
Alfonso Carricker, the rookie, and the penalty moves the ball up near midfield. They'll spot it at the 48 of Tampa Bay. Well, if Tampa Bay can get in quickly, an onside kick, a touchdown, and that extra point, because the Packers missed an extra point. But DeBerg's got to start throwing downfield. Packers fake the blitz. DeBerg backpedals, and look out. Carricker comes in. DeBerg on his backside tried to release underneath to Gerald Carter. First time we've called his number in the second half. But coming crashing through was big number 76, Alfonso Carricker again.
But what a difference a half of football makes. They're really getting a lot of pressure on DeBerg here in the second half, and every time it seems like he drops back to pass, he's got one of the Green Bay Packer defensive linemen or linebackers in his face.
Second down and 10. Bucks with all 3 timeouts left if they can score quickly. Looks for Wilder and finds him in midfield. Loose football, and it is covered by Green Bay. John Anderson with a fumble recovery, and that should do it. Right in front of the Packer bench, in front of Forrest Gregg. It was ruled a reception and a fumble, and the Packers, after trailing 14-0, will win this football game 27-14. Mark Lee forced the fumble. John Anderson fell on it. It's been a long afternoon for the Bucks. Two minutes and 15 seconds left to go. Tell you what, if I'm Mike Dickey and the Chicago Bears, I got my hands full next week with these Packers.
Well, they certainly do. The Packers have not given up. They have not folded their tent for this season, and I'm sure the rivalry continues in the NFC Central when the Packers meet the Bears, just as it has been a big rivalry between Packers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So Chicago Bears better watch out.
For the Bucks this afternoon, they've lost 3 fumbles, 1 interception. They've committed 4 turnovers.
Mostly in the second half.
Here comes the sweep. That is Gary Ellis, and he goes out of bounds. He didn't want that to happen. They want to keep that clock moving. 2 minutes and 10 seconds left to go in this football game. So the Packers, they will up their record to 6-8. There's what Gary Ellis has done so far this afternoon. The Bucks will lose another tough one after having a 14-0 lead and having things pretty much their own way in the first half. And as Drew pointed out, for the Bucks, a long ride back to Tampa Bay. Arlen Huckleby comes around the left side, and he will stay inbounds, and another penalty flag is thrown. Richard Wood, 10-year linebacker out of USC, who came over to the Bucks in a trade with the Jets in '76, who has 849 tackles coming into this game, the most of any Buck in Tampa Bay history. The man that made the stop. Face mask, I believe, against Tampa Bay. You know, in talking to Steve DeBerg yesterday at the hotel, though, despite this loss by the Bucs and despite their record at the end of the year. And even talking to Mr. Culverhouse at halftime, the organization is very enthused. They've got a good, solid defense. When you've got Hugh Green, Leroy Selman, Brantley, some of the others, the defense is playing well under Wayne Fonts. The offense is playing so much better under Steve DeBerg, and you've got the NFL's all-purpose yardage leader in James Wilder.
Face mask, 5-yard penalty, number 51 on the defense. We will repeat second down.
That's a good nucleus, and they're excited about next season.
Well, they certainly are. The problem in the past for Tampa Bay is they just didn't have any offense. As we look at Coach McKay on the sideline, they just didn't have any offense. This year they went out and got Steve DeBerg. They thought Jack Thompson would be the man after Doug Williams had left and went to the USFL, but he didn't pan out. So they went out and got Steve DeBerg, and he's really added a new dimension to their offense. And also with James Wilder there. So what they got to do is get their defense shored up and get it back to the level where it has been in the past.
Gary Ellis keeps the knees turning down to the 25-yard line, and that will be a first down. We hit the 2-minute warning, 1:58. Along with former Dallas Cowboy great Drew Pearson, I'm Jim Kelly, and welcome back to Lambeau Field. It began, it was 32 degrees. The forecast for 3 to 7 inches of snow. We had some snow, we had some freezing rain. The field is a quagmire. The Packers don't care. It's been a gutty Green Bay performance here this afternoon. They lead by 13 with just 1:58 to play. Harlan Huckabee and Del Rogers. This is Del Rogers. And Tampa Bay will quickly take a timeout. Lofton may finish the game with no catches, by the way.
It'll be the second time this season. Earlier against the LA Raiders, timeout Tampa Bay. James Lofton was shut out against the Raiders, Mike Haynes and Lester Hayes. So this will be the second time this season Mr. Lofton has been shut out.
We've got 1:50 left to go, and then we'll send you to New York with Brennan Erb. We'll have the post-game show, scores and highlights. Jimmy the Greek is there, too. That's all coming up at the end of our game here from Green Bay. We'll check in on that NFC East with scores for you. Cowboys were beating the Eagles. Giants have won. Redskins, of course, won on Thursday night. The Cowboys. You can still see that block and Lombardi's reaction, can't you? 4th and 8. Dickey gives it off to Del Rogers. Way shy of first down yardage, but the Bucs are out of timeouts. They trail by 13. Clock will stop on the change of possession at 1:29 left to go in this game. Well, I still say if they could throw the ball deep and come up with one touchdown to Kevin House or Gerald Carter and an onside kick, they've got a chance. But they just have not been able to throw the ball deep. The condition of the field, and more importantly, the way the defense of Green Bay has been playing.
It'll be tougher to throw it deep now in that prevent zone situation that Green Bay is going to be in. They're going to give them a lot of room underneath, but they're certainly not going to try to avoid giving them the big play, the big touchdown.
6 defensive backs are in. Mike McLeod and Estes Hood joining Lynn, Lewis, Murphy, and Lee. Over the middle, intercepted by the Packers. That is John Anderson, who recovered the last fumble. That is the 5th Tampa Bay turnover, and that is that. 1:21 left to go. There will be no miracle comeback for the Bucs.
What a great game by John Anderson. 2 fumble recoveries, 1 interception. Did a great job in the second half of stopping the run. James Wilder, Tampa Bay running game. Great game by John Anderson as we looked at a dejected Steve DeBerg, 21 for 36. Most of those completions had gone to his backs.
Maybe if we swing on over to the right, we can pick up head coach John McKay, because really, aside from the Packer comeback, that man, John McKay, is just 2 games away now from retiring after 25 years as a head coach. A terrific college coach, winning national championships at USC. And you have to think about, as they will just dive on the ball and let the clock wind down to get back to John McKay, you have to think about how many young men's lives he has touched and influenced over the years. All of the great competitors, including the late Ricky Bell at USC. All of the men that he's coached at Tampa Bay, men like Leroy Selman and Hugh Green, and the influence that he's had on those individuals.
The thing is, you talk about McKay as a coach, but I think the most impressive thing about him is the way he handled himself as a person. I played against him numerous times, but never had a chance to meet him until I started working here with CBS. And on occasion, we met with him twice. We covered him twice this year, and he's just a perfect gentleman and giving us everything we needed.
They will fall on the ball again. Just a personal note, because it'll be the last time we see John McKay in his role as coach. He, of course, will be the president of the Bucs and be involved, as Mr. Culverhouse said, in the selection of his successor. John McKay has always been a gentleman to all of us at CBS, and we would like to wish him the best. He said he hoped he retired with a fat wallet and a smooth backswing. And John, we hope you get both your wishes.
Amen.
Asked him how he'd like to be remembered yesterday, and he smiled and he said, "You know, Jimmy," he said, "I hope that everybody I met liked me along the line. I don't think there are too many that don't."
I don't think so.
The Packers come back against the Bucs. Tampa Bay had built up a 14-0 lead, but then 4 straight touchdown drives by the Green Bay Packers salted the game away, plus 5 turnovers by Tampa Bay. The